I swear I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, but that was awesome.
Hello, and good morning, and welcome to the fourth and final Classic Dungeon Speed event in Classic WoW Vanilla. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Duranasaur, and I am joined by Shrek, my esteemed co-host. Shrek, how's it going today?
It is going splendidly. Thank you for having me. And
Oh,
hello, everybody.
yeah, hello, and welcome. I know people might still be trickling in here. Our first run isn't for a little bit of time, but that does give us an opportunity to sort of talk about what's going to be
Holy
happening today,
shnikes.
and maybe talk about what we've done in the past with these events, and then what's coming up in the future. Because, like I said, this is probably the last Classic Dungeon Speed event. Um, what's going to end up happening moving into TBC is that we have this new organization that we're doing called Dungeon Cleave. So at any point during the stream, if you guys are curious about like, oh, is Duranosaur and Shrek or anyone else, are they going to do dungeon speedrunning in TBC? The answer is yes, and it's with Dungeon Cleave. So there should be like a Streamlabs announcement. Cloudbot should tell you guys about Dungeon Cleave every few minutes. And if you're interested in more details, you can also exclamation point Dungeon Cleave, and you'll get more of that. It's going to be a blast. I'm super excited. I don't know how much you've jumped into it so far, Shrek, or if you have any thoughts on it. But I think it's going to be a hell of a thing. What are you thinking so far?
I can't wait. We've got less than a month away until we get our fingertips on it, and I've just been itching. I think everybody I've talked to, everyone in the guilds we've been working with, and everybody in the realm has just been saying TBC when. That's all people are asking, and I think one of the things we're most excited about is there's plenty of times I'm still grabbing groups together for Strat and Skolo and Ubers and whatnot just to go blast some dungeons. And you don't kind of have the importance of dungeons in Classic as you do in TBC. So it's going to bring a whole new level to it that I'm really excited about, especially with the different levels of difficulty and the need to keep doing them. So I'm really looking forward to cranking out some dungeons and racing to 70 and get that carrot attunement done as soon as possible.
Yeah, people may not know this, but Shrek and I we were in different guilds throughout Vanilla. But I think what it is that our love for dungeon speedrunning has brought us together. So for TBC, Shrek and I are going to be combining forces, our guilds, and I think that means not only are we going to be helping out with the event side of things, I think you're going to see us actually vying for spots on the leaderboards, which is going to be a ton of fun. With heroics being something that you do on basically every character every day, right? I think that it's going to evolve and grow into something that's super competitive and fun to watch, fun to analyze, fun to learn. And I'm super, super excited. It's going to be awesome. But today, we're staying in vanilla. We are getting this last event in before the pre-patch happens, which I'm glad about. I kind of was thinking, oh man, it might be interesting to try to do one of these during the pre-patch, but unfortunately, the pre-patch is only 2 weeks, and I think people are going to be a bit distracted during those 2 weeks. But today we get to do Lower Blackrock Spire. So this is the first of any Blackrock Mountain dungeons that we've done with Classic Dungeon Speed, and I think that it's going to be fast. I think the verticality of it is gonna provide us with some really interesting ways of skipping different trash and stuff. So the requirements for today, and I think I can kind of skip through here. So it's a 5-player dungeon team. So it's LBRS, which you can enter as a raid group, but we're limiting it to 5 players. After what we saw happen in the full strat, we are limiting camp T buffs and paladin buffs on Horde, and then no Light of a Loon, but all other consumables and buffs are allowed. Like I said, Lower Blackrock Spire. Go ahead, Shrek.
I was gonna say the timing couldn't be better because it is Darkmoon Fair week. Even though this was planned a bit of ways and Darkmoon Fair came a week earlier, that means we'll be able to see everybody pulling out with their full potential. So really excited to see what they pulling all the stops out with the crew we got coming out today.
Yeah, Blizzard, I don't know if it's that they threw us a bone or if they they made things a bit more challenging, I guess. With the Chrono Boon, I guess it's not that difficult for our teams to probably get the buffs and get inside and be safe and also not affect their ability to speed run raids if they're still doing that. But yeah, we have Darkmoon Fair. The run will start when people sort of get past that threshold at the beginning of the dungeon. So when you enter Blackrock Spire and you run up that ramp, there's that doorway. So it's either when you pass through that doorway or when you pull mobs through it, whichever happens first. And then you must kill Omokk, Voone, and Wyrmthalak. So those are the 3 gemstone bosses. So it could be that one of these teams ends up with an Uber's key by the end of this. Probably not, but it's possible. That's sort of where the idea for this dungeon came from, was, hey, let's harken back to when groups were kind of trying to quote unquote speed run Lower Blackrock Spire to farm their keys at Classic launch to try to get into UBRS for the loot and for everything else. The time ends, of course, when all 3 of those bosses have been killed. It must take place on a live server, and you cannot have more than 5 players in your group. So no weird shenanigans with extra players coming in and out, stuff like that. So that's sort of the basics of what we're going to be watching today. I've had different teams reach out to me already saying oh man, you're going to be blown away by how how fast we do this stuff and the different things we do. And I didn't get an opportunity to run this in like an attempt for a speed run. I don't know if you did, Shrek.
Try to get a little group together. I did go into the mountain and I watched a couple VODs from some earlier times I've done it when I happened to be streaming, as well as what was posted in the Discord, because we actually had 2 submissions, one from yours truly, Duranasaur, from back in the day, kind of impromptu one, which was kind of fun to get a little blast the past to look through, and then we had another submission, which was at the 10-minute mark. I've been really excited to watch. We've been talking about LBRS for some time now, actually. I know it was when we were proposing kind of original ideas for the contests. Blackrock Spire in general was one of the first things that came to the conversation. I mean, it's one of the most iconic dungeons in Classic, if not the most iconic of the 5-10 man variety. But we've had teams kind of approach us in the past, say if you do it, they're pretty confident. I've heard murmurs of people saying they can do things even potentially as low as sub 4 minutes, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
So I think we weren't discussing the same boss kill requirements when we had those conversations, but I wouldn't be surprised if we could see someone pull out all the stops with some of the teams we got out today and pull something at that, which would be, over 6 minutes faster than, as what we said, we had posted in the original Discord time. So I think we're in for a treat.
Yeah, and speaking of teams, we can start looking at the teams that we have. This is our schedule for today. So just quickly, we are in the pre-show right now. Our first run is going to happen in about 35 minutes, so it gives us some time to walk through these different teams. We have the team names here, but I'll just skip ahead to this next slide. Here are the 4 teams that we have competing today in the order that they're going to be competing in. So this first team, I know their team name is Sinister Cox. Obviously, they're talking about Roosters here. They are an interesting composition. I don't think that we've seen any team in any of the competitions try to do something like this. It looks like it's close to a stealth team strat. And what people may not know based on their team name is that this is actually Goosey, which is a fairly well-known, fairly well-known speedrunning guild. So they competed in our last competition. I think they came in 2nd overall. They were the team that did the full strat with the rogue that actually went and soloed all of Liveside, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I believe so too. So they're known for these kind of stealth run strats. This is definitely the most we've ever seen druids in any comp. So it'll be interesting to see how they employ that.
Yeah, and then go ahead.
I was gonna say Goosey's top 30 in the world right now for speed, clearing sub 1 hour knacks. So speed running's in their blood, and we'll see what they've got cooked up in terms of strats for this week, because last time it was wild to see that CC train from the rogue, and I'm curious what they're gonna have to pull out for this one.
Oh man, that if you guys missed it, the full strat speedrun competition that we did, it was the Classic Dungeon 3 competition. They did not win, unfortunately. I think they lost by like 11 seconds or something to just a full-on Zug horde comp that just like blasted through it. But they had, I think, the most memorable run, which was that, they had 4 players go and try and solo, or I guess like group up and go and do dead side while a rogue soloed their way all the way to and killed Balnazar on live side. So super impressive from them. But Team 2 is also a team that I think people may recognize. It's none of the above. One of the fastest raid speedrunning guilds in the world. They're coming in today. They're coming in with the full-on melee comp here for Alliance, the 4 warriors and 1 priest. And I'm expecting them to do more than just an Alliance Zug here. Just because I know their background, I know what they're capable of doing, given the prep time and the PTRing that they probably do. I'm really excited to see what they do if they come out of the gate with something that surprises us in terms of like, okay, they have 4 warriors, they can just like cleave everything down, but how much are they actually going to skip, and what are they going to skip?
I mean, they're 2nd in the world right now, and it's not like minutes. We're talking there's a 19-second difference between them and noobs for next speedrun clears, and that's insane to think about how minuscule the difference is that makes. It could even just been a simple pat that got in the wrong way. So even though this is a pretty traditional composition of just melee cleave, this is really, the swan song of warriors potentially for classic, and especially as we get into the next patch or the pre-patch. So despite that being a standard comp, as Durant said, I think their strategy and their pathing is going to be anything but standard, or far from the standard. So can't wait to see what they also have in store for us.
Yeah. And yeah, when we're looking ahead to TBC comps, like we're probably not going to see this very much in TBC. So it's going to be, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more Warlock and a lot more even Hunter come like TBC dungeon speedrunning. So this might be just a nice little bon voyage for the sick 4 warrior comps that we've seen throughout a lot of these classic dungeon speed competitions. Now this third team, Mutiny, they have, I guess you would say, sort of a different comp than normal because they are bringing that Hunter. They do still have, the double warrior rogue sort of melee cleave going on. But you always know whenever I see a Hunter in one of these competitions, I get excited because I play Hunter and I know what the possibilities are for a Hunter. When I was thinking about the lower Blackrock Spire competition and I was trying to think through my knowledge of the dungeon and how it's laid out, what I went to was soloing Doomshot, which is something that I did on my Hunter quite a bit for a while there. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Shadow Hunter in LBRS drops arrows that are the best arrows in the game, and hunters can actually solo that boss, but they have to find some creative ways to get there and some creative ways to use the terrain to kill the trash and kill the boss. So while that isn't one of our required bosses for today, it does open up, at least for me, the idea of how you can move around in the dungeon and avoid trash and stuff. So I'm hoping that Hunter is able to provide them with some sort of leg up in terms of getting around, maybe avoiding different trash, maybe skipping it entirely. And yeah, I'm super excited about that.
I think, as a matter of fact, the very first time I tuned into your stream, you were farming Doomshot. Like, I'm pretty confident that was the first thing I ever saw on Twitch Durant TV was a Doomshot farm. And that was definitely a featured part of the stream for quite some time. But I'm curious because, as you said, Shadowhunter is not a required boss, but one of the most traditional skips is jumping on those candlesticks and going across the beam to skip the lower part before you get into the land of spiders.
Yeah.
So you can't avoid that. Like, I don't know if there's a reset or something you can do, reset the Shadowhunter so you can still utilize the skip, but
oh yeah, you can definitely get up there without aggroing the Shadowhunter. So it's one of those things, it'll be interesting to see if that's the way that some of these groups go, or if they find other ways to drop down or get to the spider area.
Yeah, I'm curious how they even manage the spider area as well. We've only got one group with really any AoE, because I'll tell you, Druid Hurricane just doesn't do it for you, as much as I love it.
Yeah, Druid Hurricane, and I guess, with that first group, both the rogues can pop Blade Flurry, but there's a lot of spiders in there.
A lot of Holy Novas to be had.
A lot of Holy Novas, yeah.
All about being a mana efficient in these kinds of runs.
But yeah, this last group will be totally fine come the spider area, because they are rocking double mage, priest, double warrior. So lots of AoE potential from these guys. I wonder if that means that we're going to see more of kind of what like Return did. When Return joined us for a couple of the speedruns, they did a lot of really big pulls, like popping lips and faps and stuff, and trying to get as many mobs together as they can, and then blasting them, AoEing them down, and using that to skip like through massive portions of the dungeon. So I'm interested to see if that's what Wolfpack does today. I don't know. It'll be it's very different. It's a very different comp. So hopefully we see something that's just off the wall from them as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got one comp that has no less than 2 warriors. It's the first team has no warriors. Otherwise, everyone's got 2 or more warriors. So it's the brown boys are leading the charge as usual. But we got a little bit of Team Blue showing up in that last group that I think will offer them some potential, depending on what they're trying to clear and how much of it they're actually trying to clear versus mitigate. I think is a really important part with this dungeon because of the verticality. There's so much that you can dodge and get around.
Yeah.
And we'll see how they take advantage of that, especially since the when you really distill it to only 3 bosses, there's not a lot of trash you actually have to kill that is required to get to them. But there's a lot of things in between each of the stages of the bosses that they're going to have to navigate around. I do think it's worth calling out that Team 3 hails from Bloodsail Buccaneers, which, as we know,
Ooh.
is home to the hardcore community, and which I'm quite sure we've got a fair amount of you all in the chat today.
Oh, right on. Yeah, Mutiny Bloodsail Buccaneers representing. That is one of my home servers. So yeah, absolutely. Wolfpack also, I believe, is representing Stalag for us. So
Absolutely. The
we've
dead
got
server that just keeps on kicking.
Yeah, we might not have a lot of people, but they're active. They're playing the game, which is I appreciate. I also so those 2 mages. They're both gonna have a lot of slow fall potential. I wonder if that's gonna come into play. I'm sure all of these groups are gonna be utilizing either the slow fall cloak or noggin fogger to some degree, just because of, again, we've mentioned the verticality of it. There's a lot of areas where you can jump either across or down and probably skip a bunch of trash. So that will be a big part of it. Also, just the potion cooldown is always a big thing in these, especially when you're talking about sub 5-minute runs and groups only having 2 to 3 total potion cooldowns. Do you use them on FAPs to run through and grab a bunch of mobs? Are you using them on lips to survive a big pull? That's something that the minute little details as we get into these runs, I think a lot of these teams have practiced, and they're probably gonna have all 3 of their potion cooldowns just lined up for exactly when they need them. And that's just another X factor that one team might choose to do something different than another one.
Absolutely. When you're doing these kinds of runs and you're talking about where you only also get 1 shot at your cooldowns, maybe 2 if you're popping them right off the bat, the entire team is all in the know about when we're popping, what's the timing of it, and what's the sequence of who's popping what when, or if we're holding off this, or if this person's saving their pop for a mana potion because they know that they're going to have to, or as you said, a lip or a fap, or even just a speed pot because you know that you can get through with the resources you have, but you just want to get to the next point quicker. It will be interesting to see which groups have engineering available to them. I'm sure that the first 2 groups, because of the kind of rating groups they're in, probably have engineering as a requirement, but some of these other groups may not, and that's definitely going to limit what they're capable of doing because you also need to all stay together at a certain point unless you're hard splitting up. The first group, pretty confident we're going to get a split here.
Yeah.
The rogue druid combo is infamous for their stealth runs. I've had tons of time. We've had people in our guild go do quick stealth runs to get a DMT cleared, throw a quick rogue team together. So I'm sure that's the plan, but they can't all stealth. They've got a preset they've got to bring with them. You brought up noggin foggers because mages can't cast slow fall onto other people. Noggin foggers is one of your only solutions outside of the parachute cloak, which also requires engineering. And noggin foggers can be fickle. I've gone through 50 noggin foggers before and not gotten a slow fall when I've been trying to do some exploration. It is brutal sometimes. So that said, there's no cooldown to it. So we'll see what kind of things they do because they'll have to either stay together or have a very concrete plan for how they're splitting up. Because they'll hit a point where once they hit that juncture, they can't get back together basically.
Yeah, and I mean I will give a little bit away. I do know that a few of these teams are planning on splitting up. That's why we do have multiple streams listed for a couple of them. And it's not listed on here, but I actually have 3 streams for this first team, Sinister Cox. So we might see a triple split, which I will try my best to keep all those different perspectives going. But I think that's going to be a big part of what potentially gives these teams the lead. Again, Sinister Cox, that's Goosey. They did the notorious split in the full strat, so maybe they've probably made sure that if they do it, it's gonna actually end up with the W this time because they were so close last time trying to get that done.
Well, what was really fun to watch, I think the last time they did it was he had to pop all these cooldowns to get through to Balthazar. and then he had to wait for the cooldowns to be up. So there was just this whole moment of just waiting for all of his cooldowns to be ready to go, as well as all of the grenades and whatnot that he was using for that. So you had the other stream where you're watching him do Strat Undead, and you can see him is literally tapping his foot, waiting for the exact moment, and then he just pops off and goes and blasts. So it'll be funny to see how these rogues end up having to time their cooldowns as well as line themselves up, and if any of them are just going to be playing the waiting game. But I'm sure we'll have a lot of different perspectives to be dashing around and see what's going.
Yeah. I will try my best to keep us where the action is. 3 streams is a lot. I'm definitely prepped for 2, but 3 is a lot. So we'll see. If anything, I think they're all going to be recording. So, and we might have time based on what teams have said about how fast they can go for us to go back and kind of watch the different perspectives, even between the games.
I'll get a second set of eyes so I can try to tell you what action to get onto.
Oh, thank you, thank you, sir. One other thing that I did want to bring up that we will be doing. So I will probably I could even get it started right this second. I'm going to be doing a giveaway as a stream, just as sort of like a thank you for you guys coming and watching today and being a part of this. It's just going to be 1 month of WoW game time to someone in the chat. I'll probably draw the winner of this between the 3rd and 4th match of the day today. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. It's today is kind of a bittersweet day just because this is the last Classic Dungeon Speed event. We started doing these, I want to say back in October of 2020, and we tried to do about 1 a month. We did, so have a rough patch there during the holidays. But today is the last one. And while we are moving into TBC, like I've loved being able to put these on, to be a part of this community, to have you guys come and watch or participate or submit runs on the leaderboard, or even just like, hey, I did a fun run. It didn't follow the rules, but here's the VOD of it if you're interested. Like, I have loved every part of that. It's been a blast, and I'm super excited to have this community hopefully be a part of like what we kick off with in TBC. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. That's part of what this giveaway is. I know that it's only 1 of them, but it's just what I can give back if I can get this thing to work right now. Oh, it is working. Look at that. Hey,
yeah, I'm seeing people getting tickets. There you go.
Perfect. All right, so yeah, you guys can go ahead. If you do !raffle, you can sign up for one of those.
Yeah, it's definitely a bittersweet thing. I think we're all looking really forward to TBC, and there's definitely a lot that we're looking to change up and excited to get out of. I think plenty of people are done with the world buff meta, but at the same point, it has been a pleasure the last 2 years playing this game. I'm definitely going to miss doing as much as it seems crazy to me. I've been running a MC for over a year now, a pug MC, and I'm gonna miss it when it's over, especially since I still don't have that elusive binding. But nevertheless, it's gonna be it's a weird transition, but I'm looking forward to what TBC has for us.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited. I think that there's a lot of people out there that I think are kind of on both sides of the fence with world buffs. I think that there's a large portion that are happy that they're going away. The reason that I'm happy they're going away is because it allows for more people to do these types of things, right? I think one of the big reasons that we didn't see a ton of teams participating in all the Classic Dungeon Speed events is because we wanted world buffs to be involved, because we wanted to see the teams go as fast as possible. And asking people to get fully buffed and fully consumed to run a dungeon is kind of a hard ask. And what TBC does is it just eliminates that, right? The barrier for entry goes down, which I think is going to help out overall, because you're going to see just so many more people participating and such a variety of comps and strategies and everything. So again, I love vanilla. I love even the world buff meta to a certain degree. But I'm also just excited for where we're going.
It's been an interesting time since the Chrono Boon was introduced.
Yeah.
It's so funny seeing, like, walking into Nax and seeing people not immediately logging out. Like, you're actually like, hanging out before raid, grabbing water casually. Like it's a whole different world now. Everyone, the whole summoning crew's in shambles, but at least we got to see what the world buffs are like and have that potential. Because I'll tell you, as a warrior main, playing war with world buffs is one of the most fun things I've ever done. Honestly, video game, it's just unreal. The power you feel blasting. So I'm definitely gonna miss that, the power fantasy of being a classic warrior. But at the same point, it's gonna be really fun being a world where it's actually full and not raid locked. You know, just something that's been it's been rough having multiple characters just so you can play the game.
Yeah, even if we are on Stalag for launch and stuff, I've already seen like there's just more people doing stuff out in the world. There's more guildies online at any given time, so that'll definitely be a fun thing.
Absolutely. I can't imagine what it's like on some of those mega populated servers where people would be just hitting the switch for those Tuesday buff trains or Wednesday, Thursday, and you just see the whole org is just crashing. Now, instead of that just being just a moment, it just keeps going because people don't log out anymore.
Yeah.
Org is just continually crashing as the thunder keeps coming down.
The thunder comes down, and then everyone's spinning in circles with their chrono boons coming out. Like, it's just like a nonstop, like everybody moving around and dancing. And
I really want to know
up.
the dev who was like, you know what? Not only is it going to save your buffs, but you're going to do a spin move. Because I'll be honest with you, that was the best part of the entire patch for me. I was excited about Chrono Boost, but when I went and stored that buff for the first time, I did a little spin move. I was like, oh, okay.
I was like,
yeah, I'll pay 10 gold for that.
Yeah, it was a little cherry on top for all of us. It was super nice of them. All right. We've got about 15 minutes left here before we go. I know we've got quite a few people in the chat right now, and I'm curious, chat, based on these teams, who do you guys think is going to win? So looking at teams, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm curious if you guys want to throw out there your predictions. There's a lot of Nodas already. A lot of Nodas. I feel like that's...
I see a little wolf pack there, though.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Maybe there will be an upset.
You never know. As we said, these big-time strategies come with big-time costs, too. Once you go back, or once you go forward, there's no way to go back with it, kind of thing. So it's hard to salvage a run if pull goes wrong, if this pat's not in the right spot. But I think that's why we'll have a priest almost in every of these groups. Almost all of the top groups we see are always mind visioning, checking the pathing to make sure it's right. I'm confident we'll see that today, especially with as big of a instance as we got. But as I said, it takes one wipe and you're out of the competition. I've been there before.
Yeah. It's we saw that with Return in the full strat competition. They went for a monster pull. It was like the very first pull of the dungeon, and they said, I think we talked to them after the fact, and they had said like it worked on the PTR most of the time, and then the day of it did not. So things can just go kind of wonky on one attempt, So I
think that was back when the PTR still had the no batch patch, but live didn't too. So it's going to be a little bit different now. Teams that are PTRing, assuming that they PTR'd earlier in the week. I know it just flopped over to the pre-patch on there, but if you were in the PTR, you would have been able to experience it the same way as you would live. But back when we were doing Strata, that was not the case. So there's a little bit more randomness, or not randomness, but that element of the lag and leeway that the mages were dealing with, which I think factored into why they wiped. So they won't have that uphill battle going into this. They'll be able to practice the way they play, as it were. But still, pulls go wrong all the time, or you just the spacing slightly off, or whatever. Something gets a resist, and it goes wrong real quick, especially when you're going for the big plays.
Yeah, and I assume most of these teams were practicing before the changes to the PTR. I know that the PTR went down for a couple days, and now it's pre-patch, which is way different, right? That doesn't help anybody in this circumstance. So with all of these competitions, in my opinion, it always comes down to the team that practiced, right? Like the team that clearly put in the time to actually practice usually does better, even if they don't have, you know, the perfect comp or as good of gear or all the buffs. It's the one that practiced the most, which makes me it really makes me think that Goosey might be coming in here with some unique strategies that give them the edge, because I don't think that they would come in with this double rogue, double druid priest strat if they hadn't done some practice to make sure that it's something that can work. So as much as the chat seems like they're on Noda's side, I don't know. I don't know how much Noda practiced. I'm interested to see if they do more than just Zug Zug, you know?
Yeah, I will say though, it was Zoo that did come out on top last time,
Mm-hmm.
and Zoo basically they definitely PTR'd, and they PTR'd how to Zug the best. So Zug Zug has proven many times to work well, but you know, as we saw in the DM West competition with Returns Pull, the mages, it was really having creative pulling and pathing is what led the way to a W for them. So you know, we've kind of seen it go both ways at this point, which means it's really anybody's game. And as we said, even the crews that have had the most interesting strategies, when they didn't get to execute them or pull them off the way that they had hoped, it basically meant that they were done for their run. So
Yeah.
we could see something where Team 1 and 2 go really big, and all of a sudden Team USA's on the Team 3 or 4 have the door open for them. So we'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, it'd be kind of sad if in a weird world where teams 1, 2, and 3 all, you know, they all wipe, they all call it, and then we just see like a conventional LBRS out of Wolfpack just to ensure the victory.
Yeah, just
I
very
feel like-
steadily pulled.
Yeah,
proper
exactly.
CC.
I think we've verged on that in some of the, in like maybe the DM West or maybe it was the original Skolo, where all the early teams had rough goes of it, where they either wiped or they had to like stop and res, and the last team is just sort of like, oh, we could just sort of do, you know, just a fast regular run and we might be okay here. But that's
I'm curious if anybody's going to be finishing, you know, the Warlord's command quest during this run today.
Yeah.
Somebody's on their way to an Onyxia attunement, because what a treat would that be to get your speed run in, potentially win some money, and also get a quest done.
Yeah.
That seems like a great Saturday to me.
I mean, I hope that they've already picked out who's picking up all the gems, right? When they get the triple gem drop, so that someone can make a phase 6 Uber's key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's funnily enough, I have all of the gems on my Warlock, and I've never gone to actually just turn it in and gone to Ember Strife. I always had it on a different account, and so I just never needed to. But I still have it in my bank with the notion that one day I will turn that in and get that sweet Uber's key just for the Valstraz RP.
Oh man, you got to do it for the RP. But yeah, guys, once again, if you want to enter the raffle, it's for 1 month of WoW game time. Basically, I'll pay for you to keep doing your TBC prep. I know that a lot of us have been doing that day in and day out, especially with the announcement. So go ahead and ! raffle in the chat, and we'll draw that sometime after the 3rd team goes, before the 4th team goes. You can only enter once. Sorry. But yeah, go ahead and do that. We are getting very close here. This is gonna be, and I am gonna apologize in advance. It might be a little scuffed just because we're gonna have 3 streams that I'm trying to pay attention to. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what these guys do right off the bat.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, you know, Warriors always get the spotlight in Classic. They're the undisputed DPS champs, you know. Oftentimes rogues are basically situated to the MPA role, especially in a lot of the top speedrunning comps. So I think it's really cool to see a team coming out with rogues where it's really a class where it's not just purely about DPS, in my opinion. A really good rogue is really crafty. It does some really unique things with game mechanics, and is really good with positioning and how to manage mobs and pathing. So I think that's going to be employed in mass right now between these two squads, with druids also kind of taking on a similar role, but more of a support role for the rogues. So I
Yeah.
can't. It's always a treat when you get to see a class utilize their full toolkit available to them, and when they need to do what they're trying to do for an Elders run with these rogues, they're going to have to use the full toolkit.
Yeah, and so originally, Sinister Cox had only signed up with 4. They hadn't. So Andromeda was, I don't know if it was a last second ad or if they were just sort of hiding it. But so I was under the impression that it was like 2 rogues, a feral, and a resto druid. But looking at their comp now, I'm kind of assuming that it's 2 rogues, 2 feral druids, and a priest. That's either holy or disc. That's gonna be healing. Yeah. I feel like there's a possibility that we just see like. Because it's a 3 split, maybe they know that like one of these rogues or one of these druids can solo a boss, and then they send, the priest with a rogue and maybe the other rogue and druid to the final boss, and we're just gonna see like them attempt to kill all 3 bosses simultaneously within a couple minutes. I don't know.
Majority of the bosses don't have a ton of mechanics to them. Like, I mean, that's generally the case with Classic. There's mechanics is not a heavy thing in Classic at all, but I know when it comes to Voone, he hits very hard, but he doesn't really do anything else. And that's kind of the same thing for Wyrmthalak. He does have 2 ads that go with him, but that's where you can really see how if they utilize that sap and blind combo, potentially with prep, buy some time for themselves. Evasion does amazing things. I've seen rogues tank KT for far longer than they ever should have while evasion tanking.
Yeah.
So the last boss is interesting because he definitely has some big knockback as well as some potential stun, and he does have those ads come in. But if you have the DPS, you can completely ignore that last pack because it's all about just killing the 3 bosses to get your time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start working on getting the streams here ready to go. So you said you're gonna watch Riley's, so I'm gonna be watching Not Dogs and I don't even know Wap Kalb. I'm sorry, guys. I'm probably butchering everyone's names here. I try not to pronounce things on stream.
There's a bunch of American guys trying to pronunciate.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. So once we've still got a few minutes here before they get going, but my goal is to have at least one picture-in-picture running with those 2, and then if something comes up with Riley's, then I'll try to loop it in here, so that
I'll let you know.
Have all of them going. Yeah.
Looks like we've just got a stream starting soon, but
yes, we will be getting started here very soon, everybody. Oh, LBRS. What a nightmare of a dungeon. But here we are. This is, I don't know why, but I have always had like a negative feeling with LBRS. I think maybe it's because back in original vanilla it was like you had to do it as a party instead of a raid for your Oni attunement, and it just never seemed to go well, or it took like 2 hours.
I remember I got my Uber's key back in vanilla, and I needed the one off of Voone for the longest time, and I went to multiple runs, and I had multiple people who didn't have any gems, even though I said I had asked if I could reserve it, who still rolled, and then go, oops, sorry, and it was BOP. There's no trading, obviously, anyway, on the dungeon stuff. So I definitely know what you're saying. LBRS is an interesting instance because it's the one that you have to go to, but as soon as you're done with it, you want to get out of there. Yeah. And there's not a lot of prebis in there. There's a couple classes have a couple big items, and I feel so bad because they're always, begging somebody to help them out, basically.
Yeah. What is it?
It's eventually they find somebody, but it is a slog to get people to commit to LBRS.
It's like, is it Hands of Power? Are those the caster gloves? Yeah.
Yes. Those ones are really good.
Off the quarter mass. So you're basically having to run the full thing.
Yeah.
It's so
and then Shadowhunter's got the Black Crow, which if you're trying really hard and it's not Dire Maul's not out, is your best melee bow, as well as it's before Rock Delar, your best hunter bow too. Or not bow, but crossbow, is my understanding. So there's a few little items here and there that people are all vying for in the beginning. But once they get it, they're done. Nobody ever wants to go back to LBRS. It's kind of like BRD. I did hundreds of runs to get my Savage Glad chain and Hajj, and that was back before you had to go all the way to Emperor. It was still at
Oh yeah.
Anger Forge. And I remember as soon as I got it, I was like, I'm out. I'm done with this instance for a while.
Yeah.
Even though it's a pretty, I think BRD is a really interesting instance because of how big it is. But it's similar to Elbers. Once you've gotten your piece, you've kind of had your fill.
Yeah, it's gosh. I think there's a reason that most people in Classic, when they are bored and they want to run a dungeon, they basically pick between Strat and Skolo. And there aren't really people that are just like, let's go run an LBRS for fun. Like, it's a rough one. Unless you're one of these groups. Maybe it's pretty easy then.
As a matter of fact, I was trying to get an LBRS run this morning, just to kind of get a little refresher. I've been through the dungeon plenty of times, even in the last month, but wanted to kind of make sure I was fresh for it. And I remember I went to guild chat and asked people, and my response I got was, "We're running a strat later, or we do a Skolo." And then I asked,
Yeah.
"Well, I really want to do Elbers," and there you go. Not so much, but we'll do a strat.
Yeah. Oh man. It's maybe after this, maybe this will be what changes people's minds about LBRS. Like, I know that when we first started having the leaderboards and stuff in the Classic Dungeon Speed community, just seeing what people did to do like UD strat in like under 10 minutes, I opened a lot of people's eyes about what's possible. And I think it made UD strat seem a lot more doable, right? Like seeing how, like, what you can skip or how fast you can zoom through it and stuff. Like, maybe that'll be the case with LBRS, but again, yeah, there aren't like a ton of reasons to run LBRS even at this phase in the game. So, yeah.
And that's what makes, I think, TBC exciting, is that even though there may not be items, it's still worthwhile running the majority of the dungeons is a heroic,
Yeah.
at a minimum you're getting badges at some point. So I don't think we'll have quite that disconnect with dungeons like you did in Classic, where once you've kind of hit a certain point, you move on from it very quickly. There's definitely a lot more replayability going into TBC with the dungeons, so be curious to see how they employ that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to hop over to the two perspectives that I have here. I will have the third one ready in case something happens.
I'm watching Riley's stream right now, and I can already see a parachute cloak, Skull of Impending Doom, Gnomish cloaking device, and a stopwatch. So I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, we've got. Oh man, there's item racks here for. I think this is not
run
dog.
Start, run boss.
Oh yeah, they
Voone,
are.
He's got specific sets for every boss in each stage.
Yeah, this is preparation. I'm super excited. I think they're all gonna be having stopwatches. Maybe each of them will, but I'll do my best also to maybe start my own, just in case, maybe just to line them all up. It's tough too, because like their streams might not all be synced as well. So we'll see. As soon as they're ready,
I'm also watching the other rogue. And he also has Gnomish cloaking device and all the bells and whistles for trinkets, from what I can see. But it looks like he's starting out with Jomkabar and Hajj to start. So
lots of consumables. Obviously, they have those chrono boons stockpiled. I'm sure they have everything.
Pre-popped some shadow, as well as it looks like they've got Fear Wards going, and Zanza speed pots. Definitely the way to go, I imagine, for these kinds of runs where stam is not quite as necessary.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's there's room for some swapping between the two, I think.
Yeah, and they've definitely seen a couple different Zanzas in the bags too, so we'll see if they may be swapped depending on the sections. That may be just to get to the boss. I could see them very well popping a Stam Zanza for the boss itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to have some... Did you see any Sheens?
I'm not seeing any Sheens of Zanza, but you can click it off and you still keep the bounce that reflects
that's right.
the initial one. So they may very well have gotten that at the start, clicked it off, and are just keeping that as at least for the first spell that they encounter just gets off. And as you can see, red equals dead, killing that group that's coming in, getting their quick buffs, got a quick few HKs, helping expand the honor pool before they get going. I'm seeing a lot of noggin foggers in Riley's inventory.
Yeah. So this is something I kind of assumed they would do, is before they even started, they would just come in here and start pounding noggins until they all had the 2-minute slow fall. Yep. Because that lasts long enough.
Got it cooked right now.
Yeah.
I only had to drink one, I think 1 or 2. So that's some good RNG.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like Not Dog is going to do a pull timer for us, which is super handy.
And they started. That's unfortunate. So it looks like they went for the Mind Soothe, and it got resisted, which is just something that can happen with Mind Soothe. It's depending on it. Looked like she had a Staff of Ruin on, so it was trying to wear some hit.
Oh, are they gonna? Ooh. I think they might just reset it.
Riley had to burn a Vanish, getting through one of the packs there. So.
Did they reset, or are they still... Oh, it's because they had to re-stealth. Okay, so they are still going here.
Yeah, it looks like they're still going. I see the rogues are still on their way. It looks like Riley is heading to Wyrmthalak.
Okay, Not Dog is... They're still just making it through...
So a bit of a rough start, but they've kind of reset, and they're making moves. I was just getting past all the Reavers now.
So it seemed like, the big thing that happened there was the Mind Soothe got resisted, which means they got aggroed out of stealth. So some of them actually ran out of the instance to get re-stealthed, while others vanished to get going in there. So,
Riley's following an interesting path right now. He's already above the hill above Wyrmthalak, and he's jumping up above. You should might want to go check him out real quick.
Okay, let me pull up his...
I've never seen it. He's trying to get a jump. It looks like he just missed it. But, he's jumping into where the bugs are. So he went above where Wyrmthalak was and skipped him and went right above and went through the bugs. And now he's going over to where where you can start that event.
Yeah.
Or where the dogs are, the wolves. So he's skipped right past it. Looks like he's heading straight to Wyrmthalak.
Yeah, so we have Riley at Wyrmthalak. We have Not Dog down at Voone, and I think it's Not Dog and one other rogue down at Voone. And then we've got... Oh, one of the rogues... It looks like one of the rogues died.
Oh, Fark is down. Oof.
All right, so they've got Druid. It's actually a balanced Druid. Not Dog is a balanced Druid.
What?
And
Look at the chicken go. Look at all those target dummies.
They've got target dummies, trinkets. Is it both? Oh, it's both the Druids here at Voone.
And they've got the cannon trinket from Strat. That's a treat. I haven't seen that used for a while. So Riley is starting on Wyrmthalak right now also. Yep. Just started to engage.
So we have Riley soloing Wyrmthalak. Voone is at 16%. Voone's going to go down to these two druids. Riley is on Wyrmthalak.
Black K Jacker donated $3.
And so they're going to have to circle back and kill Wyrmthalak right now, because it looks like the rogue that was going to be on that missed the jump, is what I can tell.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting what Not Dog's going to do at this point. What Not Dog and Red Sky are going to do. Maybe they're going to try to make their way back.
They use their Grimoires, though, so they can't... I think the skeleton's preventing them from running right now.
So Wyrmthalak is down. So Omokk. Omokk is the only one that's left?
So just for point of reference, they're at 3 minutes and 26 seconds is when they killed Wyrmthalak.
Okay.
And in theory, okay, so Riley is now on his way to Omokk. He just jumped down. He's back
Yep.
into Ogre Town.
Yep. And the druids are going to meet him. It looks like. Riley's there. The druids are coming up very, very close behind.
He's going for the sap and he's getting after it. He's got his Jomgabar popped.
Okay, so he's in. The druids are very close. Like I think the druids are going to be able to get there to assist. Because at this point it's just get the boss killed, right? And Riley might even be able to do it without these druids coming out of stealth to help.
Just popped a lip. He's pretty tight in health, but he's got the lip running, so he should be fine. They're gonna get him right now.
The druids are here, and that's it. He's dead. Now so I've got different timers from different guys here.
So Riley stopped his at Wyrmthalak, I think.
Yeah.
Not Dog is the one with that just stopped it.
Not Dog just stopped it, but he was late to get it started. So let me see if I might have to go back and check the bogs on here. I think maybe Not Dog was off by like 10 seconds or something, just because of that whole like having to run out to get the stealths off to get back in. I think there was a lot of different like shenanigans going on with that, but that means they're probably right around like 4 minutes and 30 seconds, which is still incredibly fast.
Still a great
right?
run.
Like still.
Obviously, I mean, I gotta tell you, I was not expecting a balanced druid to come out, let alone two.
Yeah, 2 balanced druids. Not obviously, like I said, like, oh well, these are 2 ferals, and I was completely wrong.
We both just assumed. I just never even guessed it was gonna be a balanced druid. But when we had those 2 chickens come out and blast, and they got at least one of the gemstones, so they're at least a third of their way to a key.
Well, there you go. All right, I'm gonna kick it back to us here. All right, I'm gonna have to confer with those guys and see if they have. I can actually like check the VOD right now, even, and I'll try to do my best to get the actual time of their run before we get much further here. And we do have time, so we've got about 20 minutes until the next run. Let me work on this while.
And I'm trying to go back in one of the VODs to see what happened with that rogue. If I can.
Yeah, the rogue was streaming. So that was Wap Kalb, which is a tough name. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on. Let me see here, videos. Okay.
Oh, so he went to go do the jump, to get over into like the area where, Shadow Hunter is.
Yeah.
And the one where you can kind of skip around to go get to Omokk, and he just barely missed it. So he was just short of the jump, and he just kind of slid down.
Oh, jeez.
I can send you the link to the time.
Yes, please do, because we can check that out. We can see what happened here. So they start the pull timer here, but then the Mind Sooth gets resisted at like, okay, so it's at 4:03 on the VOD. And then let's see when they kill Omokk. So 4:03 to 8.
Holy shnikes.
56. So that would be 4 minutes and 53 seconds, I believe. Is my math right? 4 minutes, 53 seconds.
Holy shnikes.
All right. I believe that's where we're at. I will double check with those guys. They might have some. Oh, we also have that VOD that you've got me. Very nice. Okay, so let's check this out real quick too.
Yeah, I'm seeing 4 minutes and 51 seconds from when they did the first Mind Soothe,
Okay.
which aggroed them until they killed Omokk.
So he's up here. He should be popping sprint. Oh. Oh, so he didn't get sprint off. And he came out of... Yeah. Yikes. That's super
And then
rough.
there's just... I think the worst thing in the world when you're doing any of these speed runs is that when you miss a jump, especially when you have slow fall going, it's the slowest just Looney Tunes slide down a wall like ever, and you're just sitting there like, I blew it.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's
the
just,
most
it gives you
frustrating
like
thing
nothing
ever.
but like time to think about what happened. Yeah.
It's brutal. I mean, I have definitely been there. Everybody has been there. Especially sometimes with a full train of 50 to 100 mobs right behind you, and you need to hit that reset spot.
Oh, that's scary. Yeah.
And then now we just have to see the seppuku almost of World of Warcraft killing himself after failing the jump. That's rough.
Yeah. So these are... Man, this slide is big and gray right now. But so current standings, obviously we've only had one team go. 453, might be 451. If it comes down to like that 1 second or so, we will absolutely go back and review the VODs with a magnifying glass for sure to make sure that we get it right. Man, that was...
And we've got top-notch analysts to review the game tape.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Make sure that we're getting exact precision timing.
They're getting paid top dollar to review these VODs and make sure that everything goes as planned.
They're getting paid a top dollar.
Yeah, so I'm working with the second team. We've got 15 minutes. They're going to get their stuff up and running here soon.
Just 15 minutes away, and as we said, this is going to be... So we got our first split of the day. It'll be interesting if we get a split from Noda.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's a good chance we will, even though we don't have the stealth elements. I think they're just going to utilize some invis pots and whatnot to potentially get around that. We'll see, but given the DPS output that these guys have, and I'm willing to bet that we're going to be seeing a lot of KT swords flying around on this group, that I don't think they're going to need to be stacking themselves on individual bosses. That said, they don't have things like evasion to kind of tank them. We'll see if they're going to be rocking a Diamond Flask. This might be, a Diamond Flask group, considering it's one of the last couple times we've seen it, and with the gear that people have right now, I've heard of Baker's people talking about having well over 1,000, close to even 2,000 healing power for some of their healing sets.
Yeah.
Just stacking on that.
Yeah, I think we might see some of the like best Diamond Flask sets in the world come out today.
Yes. Yeah.
Just
I've
for
always
this.
been waiting to see the Scepter with the Hammer combo.
Ooh.
Because Hammer is a one-hand. Scepter is a main hand, but Hammer's one-handed, so you can use both if you're a warrior. And I know there's some people that have been trolling through those GTKPs looking to spend some of that money. So Firemaw is a big server. It's one of the most like competitive EU servers on there around. I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty sure Progress is on that server as well. So they've got some premium GTKP action going on, as well as just some premium non-Darkmoon Fair weeks where I'm sure they're doing some farm raids to get their warriors the gear they want. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of tricks and treats they've got for us. And just
I wonder if any of maybe any of the Noda crew are in chat right now. I know they're prepping for their run, but if they how confident they are with their Diamond Flask sets.
I mean, I saw a lot of notas right off the bat, so I imagine that's got to be some of the crew hanging in chat right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they're here to support their boys as they try to beat that time. Todd has a sick Diamond Flask set. Okay. So it sounds like, yeah, we might see some pretty good ones. Yeah, we're working on... It sounds like they might have multiple points of view. So we're trying to figure out the best way to have
Exciting.
that done.
Yeah, at the same point, some of these guys you can burn down quick enough. You know, we saw, I think, Zoo, when they were doing their burn strat on Balthazar, they all immediately died after, like, because all these packs had aggroed in, essentially, as they were burning him down. So, there could be some of these send it strategies where they're willing to die, you know, just to get the boss down. It'll be curious. I don't think they're going to need to do that, but they might just say, hey, we're just going to chain fears for a little bit and get on that boss, burn him down, click the timer, and just suck up the repair bill.
Yeah, I mean, with that, with the last run, with, I'm just going to call them Goosey. Yeah, if they had killed Omokk and wiped, like, I think that would have still counted. Like, that would have been fine. Which I think they were aware at that point, like, we just need to get this boss down as quick as possible. So, we might see that.
Yeah, they would have been, I'm confident they would have been sub 4 minutes. I think they, as I said, they killed Wyrmthalak at sitting about 3 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah.
And then Voone was right around that. So had theory Omokk died around the similar time, which it seemed like they were more than capable of doing that. We were looking at potentially a 3 minute 30-second run, right around that mark. So that's kind of what I'm, at least the standard I'm setting for Noda right now. I want to see them get around that 3:30 mark. Just so, not that they don't have to do that to currently take the number 1 spot, but in my mind, what the potential we've seen from the runs today, that's kind of the mark they've got to shoot for.
Yeah. As unfair as it might be to the rest of the teams today, I think, you gotta, for it to truly be like the best run of the day, you need to be sub 4. But not for the prize money. Not right now, anyway. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
And as we said, even if you're not potentially getting the best time, it's all about what you clear and what you're putting up on the leaderboard, you know, at the end of the day. So maybe it's not sub 4 minutes, but if it's still best, you're still going to get that money.
Yeah. And we haven't touched on the prize pool. That's something that I can kind of go, oh, well, that's wrong. So never mind. I won't go off that slide. I'll just say it. This competition is sponsored by this stream. So I'm providing the prize pool. The winning team will get either the money equivalent or the actual 2 months of WoW game time. So each person on the winning team will get 2 months of WoW game time. Each member of the second place team will get 1 month of WoW game time. And then obviously, if you win that raffle as an individual, you will also get 1 month of WoW game time. So don't forget to do !raffle in the chat for a chance at that. And yeah, I think that's what we're competing for. All the prize, like I said, all the prize money and everything, it's just it's paid for by this channel. So you guys come in here and support, and that's what's making this all happen. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the follows and everything so far today. You guys have been the best since we started doing these. So I appreciate
it. Like PBS always says, it's brought to you by viewers by you. You know, viewers like you. You know?
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, Classic Dungeon Speed has been like the PBS of WoW Classic events. We're brought to you by you. So thank you.
And Dungeon Cleave is going to be like the Nova for TBC. Like that is Like if we're keeping the PBC train going, it's our Nova.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're getting things set up and running. Gosh, That first run was just craziness. It sounds like what we may end up doing with the second run is we'll have one point of view live, and then they will upload a video from the other point of view. So we'll get to watch both of them sort of back to back, which works out great for us. Gives us some more time, so because these runs are so fast today. Gosh, can you imagine going? I mean, obviously they've got the gear and the consumables and the world buffs, but just like the difference between phase 1 farming LBRS and what we're looking at today is pretty dumb.
Yeah, it is hilarious, honestly. Even going from just AQ to Nax gear, because of some of the trinkets that you can get at Nax, as well as the weapons and the DPS jump you get, it's unreal. Like, it's child's play. As I said, like, the idea of groups splitting up and having rogues soloing bosses, we think about that in phase 1, and it's just not a thing. Like, let alone having 2 people do it. I remember early on, one of the farms one of my buddies would do as rogues was get the robes of the Archmage farm, go down to Elbers, and they go kill the pyromancers, or I think that's what they're called, that drop that recipe. And it was just the 2 of them, and it was a big deal that they could go solo those guys, basically, back in the day for it. And now we've got people just basically soloing any boss in the instance. The gear that you get and just the power creep that Classic has, unlike a lot of the other ones where you're pretty much already a god walking in, outside of doing mythics and whatnot, it's wild just to see, especially with these classes like warriors that just scale so incredibly well, particularly when you get world buffs into the equation. It's pretty laughable, honestly, just how crazy it is. You're just literally, you feel like a god.
Yeah.
You're just walking and just backhanding mobs, and they're just wilting.
Yeah. It's it's night and day. And gosh, it's kind of sad how quickly it gets replaced in TBC, but obviously it's, it has to happen.
It's definitely a bittersweet thing. There's something to be said about, like, it's really cool when you have an item that has staying power. That's something that's really unique to Classic, is that you have things like Hajj, which is still viable even in Nax Ramus. It's a blue item that you get, in BRD. There's a lot of items that have incredible staying power. Things like, Onslaught Girdle is really not that much of a downgrade from Girdle of the Mentor, even for a DPS warrior. So the items have incredible staying power in Classic, and that's something that kind of gets lost in the later editions, and there's not as much viability to running earlier content. You still have things like Dragon Spine Trophy, which is going to be valuable, and you're going to be farming until your nose bleeds, kind of deal. But it's pretty wild how Classic has at every single gear tier a handful of items that classes will use throughout, honestly, the majority of their time playing.
Yeah. Toe up. Boobies is bringing up. Toe up. Toe up is kind of insane. I think there was one. I think you guys did like an MC yesterday and a toe up dropped, right? Something.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that. It was really funny because they at the last minute decided to say, hey, it's last Dark Moon Fair. Let's throw together an MC and do a triple drop, at midnight or something like that is when they were doing it or close to it. And it was a little too late for me. I remember thinking to myself, man, there's only 2 things I would get on my Warlock, and it's Choker of the Fire Lord and a toe up. And sure enough, both of them dropped.
Classic.
That's the way she goes.
Classic WoW. All right. It looks like none of the above. They are here. They're ready to go. We do have a couple minutes, but I mean, there's if we're gonna end up watching like a couple perspectives, I'll let them go whenever they are ready. And we'll just man. So this is the 4 warrior priest comp. Oh, they're popping those booners. I always get so excited. They have the Gnomish Cloaking and Nifty Stopwatch on to start.
So I definitely was wrong about my call on the KT swords. I don't think there's any KT swords right now here.
Oh, we not
see
seeing...
a couple Castigators, and I think that's a CTS on the Dwarf Warrior.
Yeah, is that an AQR on Star?
I think so.
Interesting.
That or it's the axe from the armaments. I'm not sure though. It's kind of hard to tell at this exact angle.
All right, they are just manaing up.
Holy
I think that priest is like
shnikes.
11k mana, so he's gonna. It might be a little bit here while he drinks.
So you
up.
can see they've already got they went ahead and got the fire resist buff. I believe that's it. It's either that or they already popped a fire protection potion.
Yeah.
Up top, definitely a shadow protection potion is currently running as well as a GPP. So it probably is a fire protection potion, but I think this section of the dungeon that almost is most famous for is the fire buff that people are notorious for getting to going into a fire mon for BWL or even Ragnaros if they're really struggling with that boss. I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten it for Ragnaros, but maybe in my vanilla days we may have considered it.
Oh yeah, I think maybe like first clear. We were thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know my first kill in Rag. I found it on YouTube, and I'm on my hunter, and I'm full like Black Dragon scale and fire resist, and we definitely get a submerge, and I'm frost trapping or freezing trap the ads, the Sons of Ragnaros. So there we go. We're seeing that Noggenfogger's getting popped, and you gotta love it. He's literally put his F key as his consumable, and he just keeps swapping it out, getting ready to blast whatever consume.
So okay, so they're all probably gonna have slow fall, which means we're most likely seeing at least that skip coming up. We'll see if their Mindsooth gets resisted, just like right out the gate. Is this gonna be a better one than Goosey's?
And we've always talked
time
about.
started? Here we go. Oh, they're just
going for it.
Absolutely.
We have talked about the do it live kind of like nature of these competitions where you can PTR these runs all you want, and I think that's kind of unique to Classic in general because of the world buffs. You only get really one shot at it, or if you're going fast enough, maybe two kind of deal.
Okay.
So
yeah. So my thought, I assume what they're going to do here is they're going to run in the, if you go up here where this NPC is for the quest for the Uber's key, this is a reset spot.
So there's the flask.
So
they
coming up
petri
here.
just now.
Oh, they're using, wow. Okay. So that's just that it's a reset spot anyway. So the fact that they used Petri there, that's just to save, the 8 seconds it takes to drop combat. So already min-maxing this to the extreme. Coming in here, dropping on these mobs. They got kind of lucky. The patrol was out here. Normally it's 3 mobs, and then there's a 4th mob that patrols in and out. So they're getting all 4 of those down right here. Maybe they like that. Maybe they don't. I think after this, they're going to run straight up to Omokk. Looks like that's what they're doing.
I want that weak aura, the neon.
Oh, there goes Triangle. Okay.
So they just split off now. So
Yeah.
they got their first split. Looks like the lion's share of the, oh, and there goes the Gnomish cloaking device.
Yep. So Todd is the one going down there. Todd has 9.5k HP right now. He's the one going down to Voone, which makes me think that
he's also the one they noted had the diamond flask set.
Yeah, someone in chat did mention Todd's got a hell of a diamond flask set. Oh, is the priest dead? Is that, ooh. Priest was dead. Priest is back up.
Oh. Lynn's down.
Lynn's down. Priest is dead again. This is making me think this is not intentional any longer.
It's not a part of the strategy, potentially. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So they're going down. Oh, man.
You hate to see it.
See, this is what we're talking about. Oh, man. These runs, you get one shot. These are live. Oh, that's rough.
You can practice it a million times in the PTR. All it takes for it to go wrong is one little thing, and you're done.
Yeah.
And the run's over.
Jeez.
Oh, they got, it looks like Voone's down based on the loot. Got those flight blade throwing axes.
Well,
classic.
One boss down. It looks like there might have been a macro issue.
Yeah, I think they had to have gotten a lot more ads than they planned on there. I'm not sure exactly where it went wrong. But, yeah.
Well, at least we know Todd did his job. Good job, Todd. You did it.
Way to go, Todd. You
Way to
nailed
go,
it.
Todd.
Todd with 1D.
I don't, we'll see.
That's unfortunate.
We'll see what they decide to do here. It's so difficult.
I mean,
yeah.
we were talking all about it earlier though. Like everybody walked in when we asked who do you think's going to win, and everyone says Noda right off the bat. And there's high potential, but there's high cost that comes with it sometimes when you're doing what they're trying to do here. And so it really opens up the gate. Our first two groups have had some difficult mistakes. I'm sure that they can pull up a PTR run that they probably have recorded where all this went smoothly and they probably were at, as I said, 330 or even less for their kill times on these bosses. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but it means it's anybody's ball game for the next two crews.
Yeah. Welcome, Jerome. Thank you for coming by and chat. This is, the door is wide open. I think a lot of people just, they wrote off Team 3, Team 4, and this is what can happen with these, unlike maybe some raids where, Noda has probably done more Nax PTRing than they've done LBRS. I'm just going to throw that out there. That might be a bold claim coming from me. But my guess is that they probably have done more
at
work
least
on their
in
next
this
runs.
phase.
Oh yeah,
I know they were doing a lot of Elber speed runs in the PTR in the earlier phases, but as I said, times change and dungeon importances change.
Yeah. Oh man, we'll see if they're. I mean, they're keeping the timer going. It's just tough. I always feel for any group that wipes and tries to keep on going here. I think maybe, were you guys, so you've done a couple of these, was it your Skolo attempt where maybe you guys had a rough go of it, but you kept on going?
Yeah, so we had, I know, the very first competition, our Skolo group we had no real casters except for our healer, who was a shaman. I remember, no, it was a priest, apologies. It was our homie Baka. Anyway, we had no casters, so when we got to the room where they turned to magic only, we tried to do a reset and just kill the boss, and the reset didn't work. And then we still ran back, we killed the boss, and then we found out that those mobs were a requirement to summon Gandling. So either way, we really had kind of screwed ourselves. But looks like they might be calling it here. We do see that their buffs were they never booned, actually. If you do look up in the top right, they still had those bottled up. So not sure if they're saving it for something else or they got it rebottled in the middle of that altercation or something. But
Yeah, it could be that maybe they knew they could get it done without using it. Maybe they, it is Noda. They might be doing a speed run of another caliber at some point here in the next day or two. So it could be that they just thought, you know what, we can bust out this LBRS without them and still throw up an insane Nax time with these same buffs.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have made the difference. It might have. I don't know. That's super tough.
Yeah, I mean that may have been the issues. They thought they had buffs popped and they didn't, and that's why they got chunked as hard as they did and just didn't have the DPS to respond to it. I'm not sure. I have to go check back to see if the other guys had popped buffs and maybe it was just a mistake or something like that. But as you said, Todd had blasted that guy down really quick. I mean, we're sitting at 230 mark roughly. When actually less than that, 227 mark when Voone had died. So if you imagine that they were going to kill those guys in the next minute or so, as I said, it could have been sub 330 for their overall time. I wouldn't be surprised if they PTR'd and it was sitting around that was what their time.
Yeah, that's
But we have not had an event, I think, where a group has not wiped. Every event has had at least one group wipe, if I remember correctly. As I said, we wiped in Skolomance. We definitely had a group wipe in DM West when we did that. I know Strat had, as I said, even return with that big pull wiped, and now now this. So even the top dogs do have those issues.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying in chat like basically it's better to have zugged hard and been zesty than never to have zugged at all, and like absolutely, I want to give like a big shout out to Noda for coming and participating and for trying to like basically throw a Hail Mary and win this, because they probably could have come in and played it really safe and done really well. But it looks like they were trying to do something extra spicy, and that stuff can come back to bite you. So I appreciate you guys for being here, for participating. Thank you. I'm excited to see maybe what you guys do in next here over the next couple weeks, and going into TBC. Obviously, Noda is one of those names that I think people are gonna know and be watching out for moving forward. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate anybody who puts themselves out there as a competitor. It's not easy, and it's a little bit anxiety driving getting out there and streaming something where you're typically maybe not the main sole focus on the spotlight for that stream or whatever. So getting and doing it live, as I said, that nature, it's definitely a stress, and I appreciate anybody who's willing to put themselves on the line and try out for that. So shouts out to all the competitors. Even if you have a rough run of it, you still put yourself out there, and I think that's something that's really important to keep doing.
Yeah. So let's check out where we're going from here. I believe whoops. Okay. So up next we're gonna have Mutiny. This is the Bloodsail Buccaneers Guild. So our RP PvE group. I wonder if we're gonna get any RP elements out of them in this run.
This could be a very dramatic Elbers. I mean, we may be seeing it played out, as Thrall would have wanted.
Just like the most, maybe I need comms on for this, because hopefully they're just going all out with it.
Yeah, I'm expecting they may not have webcams, but they're in full costume of what their characters look like as well, because you practice the way you play is a big thing I say, and I think that's important with RP as well.
Yeah, I mean, every time that I've played on Bloodsail, I've been in my full LARPing outfit, head to toe. It's just a requirement. If they catch you playing on that server without it, they actually have the means to have you banned from that server. So,
I've seen computers exploded for less on RP servers. They have a little button they push and it sends a signal and explodes, like in Live Free Die Hard, the one with Justin Long.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, we have I think Balnazar in the chat. I believe that might be the priest from the run, and he's saying he had his Nifty and his Gnomish were in different trinket slots than normal. So when he ran into Invis, he actually popped a Nifty instead.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So that's why they had all those ads. Oh, that's so brutal. You hate to see it, man.
That's super rough. Yeah. That's really unfortunate. It's
Oh, they just swapped trinkets. It's not even that they got used, and they got both put on a 30-second cooldown. Oh, that's. And I imagine the whole crew had already started running. It's one of those things. Once you're on the train, everybody's got to get on or off.
Yeah, I don't know what you do in that situation to actually get the train back on the tracks, I guess.
We did say see you guys typing out as the wipe was happening something about macros, so makes sense that that's what happened. Unfortunate. Really sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Super. Yeah.
Do you by any chance have any runs from the PTR that you may have saved that showed what it may have looked like had that not happened? So we could have seen, because I would very much be interested to see how Voone went down, as well as what you guys had planned for Wyrmthalak, because the majority of your guys' resources were committed to Omokk at that time. It sounds like you probably were going to have to do the jump. Ooh, yeah, 326. Oh, that's exciting. We'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, if you guys want to PM me the run, we have time to check it out for sure. So that would be cool. Even just to show what you guys had planned and what you guys were capable of. Very nice. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Someone asked for someone redeemed channel points for the mullet. Shrek, take the wheel while I do this.
So yeah, as we said, we've got two good teams coming up. This is our first US team. The first two teams are both from EU, repping that hard. So we got the US making its four-way with Team Mutiny from Bloodsail Buccaneers. This is going to be the only team that's got a hunter coming in. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they utilize that to get any kind of unique pathing, or even allow that hunter to pull, have the mob, the pets run them away, and then have everybody run past. So we'll see what kind of skips they're able to do that the other teams haven't employed. Or we'll see if they maybe go for just a more traditional and play it a little bit safer. Traditionally, when we've done these routes, most of the teams don't really try to adjust their strategies based on the previous teams. For the most part, we did see in Strathhome, um, once the team started seeing the strategy of fearing all the ads on live side and just burning down the boss while controlling the ads as much as possible, some of the other teams committed to that, even though it meant that they typically died. So we'll see if any of these teams have seen the other team's strategy and will try to adjust accordingly. But given the comps they have, they won't really be able to do that to the extent. So I think we won't see a ton of that, but who knows? They may try to go for a slightly different pathing based on what they saw those teams executing.
Yeah. Okay, so here, this is from Noda. So we'll check this out real quick. I will do the handstand push-ups later. I'll wait for the end of the.
If the guys from
broadcast.
Gusu still have if they have a clip of VOD of their run from a PTR, definitely share that as well. We'd love to see that.
Yeah. So this is the same group we just saw, but this is a PTR run. And you can see they have a timer going there in the top middle. Sorry, the quality. That's just.
Oh, so they have the Mind Soothe on that one as well. Which I don't think they got a Mind Soothe off in their run this go around. Maybe I missed it though.
Yeah.
We said those Mind Soothes are one of those little elements too that it can just resist, and those mobs are instantly aggroed. But
I think this is
there's
a
the patchery.
Is this a 4-man run?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think this is just like, we only had 4 people to practice, so we're just doing it with 4.
You know, it's funny too, when we did that Skolo run, we kind of I who I know is in the chat right now, I was, running with a group with him, and we didn't even have our full team either for the PTR, so we ended up PTRing with one of the other teams.
Oh yeah.
So we had 2 teams that were competing against each other PTR together. It made the strategies very similar, I'll tell you that much, but it did allow us to give some runs before going in. So this is the part where the trinkets actually went off as opposed to getting swapped.
Yeah. So they have still a lot of mobs here, but I think like this is obviously a lot more manageable, right? Like instead of having, I think like 4 to like 6 more ogres, they're just doing this here. 4 manning. So I guess so it looks like Todd is not in this group. Todd is the one who went down and soloed Voone. So this just gives us an idea of like what this group would have done and accomplished while Todd was going and soloing Voone.
Yeah, so as they're saying, Balnazar saying that Todd's got over 1,200 healing, which has got to be near BIS. I know I said before people pushing 2,000, that's not realistic. I was exaggerating a bit there, but people can get well over 2,000 on that. So it looks like this also acts as a reset spot for those mobs, so they're able to just burn that boss and then run through.
Yeah. Now this is, I'm curious, are they just going to grab everything? Or I guess like there's a chance that they have another reset spot somewhere in here. You'd have to, right? I mean, we'll see, but like they're grabbing everything.
They're just everything, yeah. They're fearing too and grabbing extra stuff.
Dazed on the priest, dropping a target dummy. Or maybe, oh man, is it just like go for it? Go absolutely nuts here, just kill Wyrmthalak?
I think this is what we were talking about with this is the same thing we saw in at Strat, where they just went for it, aggroed everything, just CC'd it as best they could and just sent it on the boss.
Yeah.
And they're running, I can't tell with the Warriors what kind of world buffs they're running, but as you can see, the Priest is only running with ZG Songflower and Ani, so they don't have Dire Maul or anything like that.
So Priest is dead. They're in combat. Wyrmthalak calls for help. I assume that just means Wyrmthalak is dead. Oh, there we go.
There it is. Yeah, you can see him kind of in the top left. Right, like that little nook on the bridge.
And there he's dead. So yeah, that was like a... And we know that Voone was dead before this, right? Like, Voone was very much dead before the 330 mark. So yeah, these guys could have obviously pulled off like a 330 run. And it sounds like from what they said earlier, Goosey had like a 3-minute run, you said?
Trying to go up in the chat to see where they were at.
Yeah. Thank you guys for the kind words in the chat. We've had a ton of fun with these events. Oh, we have the Todd point of view too that we can jump into. So it's currently low res, but we will. So this is from their run that they did with us. So we're gonna check out how Todd did. Todd got his part of the job done. Todd is the champion of the people. Let's just, Todd also popped his
Todd's
booner.
the real one.
Yeah, Todd did.
Todd's got full buffs.
Yeah,
not
Todd,
everybody came with buffs, but Todd brought it.
Yeah, Todd is here to play. Getting stuck on some corners there, but it's okay. Todd's the man. Considering the bosses would be dead by Wyrmthalak, it'd be less than 3 minutes. Oh, Sinister Cox. Yes. Oh, the Petri there.
Well, their time was at 3:26 when they killed Wyrmthalak. So if you're assuming that all that stuff was dead.
So Todd popped 2 Petris for this run.
I think his name is actually Chad, not Todd.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Todd benching the speedruns, at least he can pop them. Oh, man. So Todd's just the team player here. We got to give it up for Todd. Todd also has swords. We were talking about how we didn't necessarily see a lot of swords.
CTS. Oh no, he does have a THC. I missed that. So he's rocking the THC. So we got 1 KT sword out of him.
Yeah.
Out of him. Yeah. There's that gnomish cloaking device to skip past all the other guys.
Okay. Now I'm curious when he gets here. Does he have a pot CD? 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Okay, yeah. So my guess is that he's gonna pop an invis pot to get in the rest of the way.
Yeah, that or he's just going to commit to dying and use that for like a rage pot or something. I'm not sure. We'll see.
All right, so now he's in the corner.
Nope, there's the invis, as he said.
Diamond flask set. I wonder if we'll see the healing from it. How much it heals. Oh, it's for healing for over 1,000. Oh, his health. It's just not. He's like totally fine. Wow.
Yeah. He's getting 1,100 every tick, basically, right around that. It looks like.
Even with the knockdowns and stuff,
And Voone hits pretty hard.
Voone does, yeah, he has like the axe throw maneuver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were watching the Rogue, I mean, he was hitting for over 1,000. Close. I think he got crit for 1,700 at one point.
Jeez. Those are, yeah. You guys are incredibly impressive. I think someone in chat, maybe it was Jerome earlier, was like, "Man, LBRS is like a 5-hour endeavor," but these guys are just like, "Nah, we'll do all the important bosses in 3 minutes."
It makes me really reflect on my time in vanilla, where I remember scraping for hours to get a group together, because I was always trying to get the Beast Stalker set for some reason, even though it's obviously not this. Back in the day, I wanted the full set. And Elbers has got, I believe it's Warmaster Voone has got one of the pieces. I can't remember which one it is, but one of the pieces drops.
Oh, he has the shoulders. Oh,
yeah,
wait,
shoulders.
No. Wyrmthalak has the shoulders.
Wyrmthalak has the shoulders. So I remember just going and grinding and trying to get Elbers groups together, and it was like I would have to book. That was my afternoon. Was running a dungeon. It was that whole time, and now we're looking at it and we're clearing these things in less than 4 minutes. It's insane.
Yeah. So I just linked in the chat. I linked that's Todd's Diamond Flask run that we just watched that he did live, where he went and soloed Voone. You guys can check that out. Support his YouTube. I should be supporting or linking you guys more of the Twitch channels. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you guys should. You can see him right here. You should go and support all these people. They're putting themselves out there, and and like maybe having a rough go of it. So big thank you to them for all of them for being here. Up next, we do have Mutiny. We've got about 8 minutes on them, and we'll see.
You know, this is, I think, the first time we have had 0 shamans in a run.
Oh yeah.
When you see Horde, you usually see the shamans. It's really interesting to see this view. Literally none of them there at all.
Yeah, we don't have the patented 4 warrior shaman group. It just isn't. It didn't show up today.
Yeah,
and
that's been a staple of a lot of these runs.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just because of the nature of how these LBRS runs are going. Like it's pretty clear that it's better to sort of split up. And if you think about like shamans and totems and the melee cleave, like it favors teams that have a much more linear path of like, we're just going to kill till we get to the required place, the required boss, and then we kill that. But when there's more skips and stuff available, like I think it's harder for a shaman to maybe keep up and provide the full utility.
Well, as you can see also from just a healing perspective, when you're on the fly, like the fastest cast you have is a 1.5 second cast, which is the same as, flash heal, but you don't have any hots that you can throw on people.
Yeah.
And with the new patch where you're not really as worried about pushing things off with hots, you definitely can push off consumes, lower buffs, but you're not going to push off those world buffs. As you can see when we were watching Noda's run, the priest was just running hots on everybody pretty much throughout the whole run, just to keep people up so you're nonstop moving, and that's something that shamans have no means of doing at all. And the totems take a lot of mana. You got to redrop them, everything like that, and that's just another risk, especially if you're pulling some tight corners of aggroing more stuff.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, the amount of times you're going to have to redrop them, it may not be worth it, especially for the style of healing that you've got to employ for these runs.
Yeah, I don't actually know if Mutiny is Horde or Alliance.
They are Horde.
They are Horde? Okay.
Yeah, I checked them out earlier.
Gotcha.
So,
you're doing your due diligence while I am not. Okay, so the last 2 teams then are Horde. So first 2 teams were Alliance, last 2 are Horde. We'll see if the Horde boys can finally... Well, I guess Zoo did really well in the full strat. So.
They did, and that was the very classic Zugzug with just like it was a Zugzug with a touch of grace, is how I'll put it, because they definitely knew what they were doing and the timing and like when they should be popping their cooldowns and the best pathing to utilize for that. A big thing that we saw that Zoo utilized, and something when we were talking with them after it, is the use of target dummies to mitigate damage.
Yeah.
That has been employed in a couple cases. We saw with the first group, they utilized it with the Boomkins to manage Voone because of how much damage he puts out. So it'll be interesting to see if some of the other groups employ that, because that was something Zoo really talked about. Was it wasn't the Camp T buffs that were saving us, it was the raw DPS we were putting out in combination with utilizing those target dummies to just mitigate damage quickly. So
yeah, I think that might be just something, because I think we saw both of our first groups utilize them, and we kind of talked about it before any of the runs even started too, is just like engineering provides so much utility that I'm not sure, based on these 2 last groups and knowing what server they're on and maybe a little bit about them, I don't know if they're going to have 5 engineers. I don't know if they're going to even have the ability to use target dummies.
And it really comes into play with these. It's interesting to see how the main focus with engineers is everyone, of course, thinks of sappers. But we're even seeing now with these speed clears that some of these groups are utilizing the Gnomish cloaking device to get right up to an Ubercon, basically, and have your speed run start at a whole different location in Nax. So we're seeing it tip into the 40-man rates here, but it's been a big part of any of our dungeon runs we've seen, is if a team has full engineers and they're able to utilize not just the Gnomish, rocket boots, but the goblin, or it's not just the goblin rocket boots, but the Gnomish rocket boots in addition to that, coupled with sappers and a Gnomish cloak and the parachute cloak, all those things add up, especially in a dungeon that's very linear and has a lot of movement potential.
So Mutiny is here. It looks like they are just about ready to go. Full gambit of buffs, like we would expect from any group like this. This is this is one of the most diverse groups, probably the most diverse group of
Is that a
classes.
mistletoe buff I'm seeing? Or is that
that
the
might
spirit
be.
one? I
That
think it's
might
like
be.
the Christmas spirit buff, I think it is.
That's crazy.
Which you always love to see when people pull out these things that have just been sitting in some bank for ever, you know?
Man. That's like I farmed up the not the Valentine's chocolates, but the like 30 agi buffs. And so I was using those in like, October, November, December. And it was just like, yeah, I have Valentine's buffs still. And it's just some people farm up these things and just keep them reserved, keep them ready to go. And it's I feel a little special that they're choosing to use them when they come and run a dungeon with us.
Absolutely. So we're already seeing, me, I am a sucker for a Mortal Strike Warrior, and from what I'm seeing, it looks like a...
Oh, we might be losing you, Shrek. We might have lost Shrek on comms. But yeah, this group looks like they are about ready to go. We'll see if Shrek's able to like disconnect and get back in here. I'm gonna let them know. I don't know if they're in the chat, but if you guys are, you are good to go whenever. Just remember to start the clock before you do. I'll also message them, let them know. Oh man, Shrek is just... Where's my boy? Maybe it's my Discord also. Maybe here I'll try disconnecting and reconnecting. Shrek is gonna try to get his back up and running. So we are. I let them know they are good to go whenever they want. Shrek, are you back, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect.
I'm not sure where I was, going at it. I wasn't sure where you lost me.
Oh, no worries. No worries. I let these guys know they're good to go whenever they want. They might just be waiting for, like, the official 5 p.m. Eastern.
So the Rogue's got, that's the, see what the Hunter's rocking that Iblis with the Maximus Fang combo with the double sharpening stone. Since they don't have the Shaman, they don't have to worry about keeping that hand open. So they're, as we said, I'm seeing some Gift of Arthas being popped on the Warriors. They're really going all out, which we love to see, Variety of effects too between two-hand warrior and then a dual-wield warrior. So bit of variety in their gameplay that we'll be seeing as well.
You play a warrior. Is having an MS like Sweeping Strikes Warrior for like a speedrun dungeon as your tank, do you think that that's more beneficial than just having everyone be the regular Fury dual wield DPS?
My opinion on that has kind of changed a bit. When we ran the Strathhome, I went with my Might of Menethil and went as MS, and I thought because of the sheer volume and we had no real AoE, it would be very useful for a dungeon like Strathhome where there's a lot of trash. I think it is really useful. But I think when you're getting into the next gear of level of like dual wield, just the single target, even though you're missing on sweeping strikes, you're missing out on a little bit of AoE, is just so much more potent, especially with flurry and Deathwiths, that I think you're better off, honestly, just running pure fury for some of these runs.
Gotcha.
But it depends on the gearing that they've got. He may not have the dual wield weapons to really pull that off, or the AP on that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so they are interesting. So they're opting to go low here to start, which we haven't seen any groups do yet. This kind of makes sense though, right? Because where you kill Wyrmthalak, you can jump down afterwards and you're right at Omokk, right?
So, and they can get to Voone from down here as well. Actually looks like they're going to be going to Voone first.
Okay, so this is different routing than what we've seen so far from any other group.
It's like pulled that pack by accident.
Pulled that pack
It
by
looks like
accident.
that may have not. Someone may have been a little bit too far from the wall. Ooh, looks like they're going to get an extra pack as well.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are going to have to come back this way, so they may have had to, they may have aggroed that anyway, so may save them time on the back ways. But got that clutch hunter aspect of the pack when something the other groups definitely are missing out
Yeah,
on.
that's true. That speed boost might be the difference. Might make
And
all the difference.
There's the patented Mind Soothe, and here we go with some Invis.
Ooh, gosh. Some of those invis felt very late. Felt very sketch. 8 seconds left. I wonder...
Every time I've seen those Mind Soothes go off, it makes me a little nervous just because of they've always got that 1% resist.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that. Our very first run was just like a ninja start because of that. This hunter's trying to get range. I know that feeling.
So they're dragging Voone with them.
Oh, they are.
They're not fighting him. They're not burning him down. They're bringing him with them. I'm wondering. It looks like they've gotten the Pat too, though. Unfortunately.
Oh yeah. So now they're opting to kill the Pat and Voone here. It looks like at least the Pat. They may start kicking it off again. Just trying to get them down. These mobs do not have a ton of health. They just don't. So, did they get Voone? It looks like Voone is probably dead. Yeah, they're out of combat. So at this point...
They tried to get those Mind Soothes off, but it looked like that was a tight window. I didn't think they could run past that even with a Mind Soothe.
So right here, they don't have to kill this. They can run and jump off those candles and get up top. Like, I'm wondering if maybe they've had problems with that in the past. That was pretty quick though. So right here, yes, everyone can run up here. You can actually just like clip into the wall pretty easily. They're jumping down. We're at 3 minutes right now. We still have Wyrmthalak and Omokk.
So they're just waiting to get out of combat. Now they are. They're good to go. And this whole section, this is going to be their biggest slowdown because most of the other areas they should be able to bypass.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tough to get past the spiders. So
yeah,
hopefully they set their hearths right and they got the Mother's Milk quest ready to go. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty disappointing if they don't get it done this time.
Oh, yeah. Bonus points. It's actually minus like 10 minutes on your total time if you do Mother's Milk while doing this. Oh, one of them did not pop invis in time. Looks like the rogue. Maybe he'll be able to vanish and catch back up. They also, like, the combination of aspect of the pack and invis pot is pretty crazy here. Like, they barely made it through there. Obviously, if they had like a nifty or something, they might have been able to also get through, but the pack just provides them the ability to maybe get extra out of that invis that other groups might not be able to. They're opting to use Mind Soothe here.
Yeah, that's another area where they could have just jumped through. I know have jumped up, but they may also just be saying, hey, our guys can't consistently make this jump, so rather than do that, we can just do with a Mind Soothe.
Yeah.
And just go for that.
Poppin' sappers.
It looks like the rogue was able to potentially get through. He's not dead. I'm not sure where the rogue's not with them right now, though.
I think he was dead. But maybe he was soulstoned. I see the hunter is soulstoned right now, so it could be
yeah, he could have just been soulstoned.
Currently at 4:55. So it looks like, yeah, they are doing just a more traditional, like, just killing everything, which it may be slower, but this is honestly, it's giving a more realistic idea of what groups could do. Like, if you're someone who, for whatever reason, you need to farm LBRS in Phase 6, these guys are showing you, like, hey, with a couple invis pots and a hunter with aspect of the pack, you might be able to do a full LBRS in
and this isn't
no time at all.
Overly, quote unquote, sweaty comp at all. So it's definitely one of those things that you could patch together real quick with a crew that just happens to be online.
Yeah. You might need to be on like an RPPVE server for this though. Just because I'm pretty sure this strategy requires you to come in here. The mind suits in particular, I think, require a little bit. We don't have comms or anything, but I'm guessing that priest is whispering sweet nothings as he's going through this whole dungeon. Okay, so Hunter... Oh, the Hunter is going to try to shoot Wyrmthalak to pull him down, maybe? Oh, he got the patrol. Did I lose Shrek again? Oh, no. It's just me. Checking. So this Hunter, it looks like soloing this Blood Axe and all these ads and everything. Maybe this is by design. I'm not quite sure. That rogue just coming by here. He's feigning off. It's hard to know if they've engaged Wyrmthalak yet or not. Oh, the rogue just is eating all that now.
Looks like they're resetting him now. So it looked like the Hunter tried to get a pull off and get him separated, but unfortunately got aggroed onto one of those guys.
Yeah.
Had a pat aggro onto him while he was doing it.
Yeah, and that was the second death on the rogue. So chances are we're not going to see the rogue pop back up anytime soon. And we'll see. So now Wyrmthalak being DPS down. They're sitting at 745. The Hunter doing his best to try to keep the mobs from going up and messing up the double warrior priest combo that's trying to kill Wyrmthalak right now.
You know, one thing that I think is, interesting is we noted these guys are from Bloodsail Buccaneers, home of the, the hardcore community. And one thing we've also talked about that the hardcore community is kind of like is more widely accepted of is clicking rather than just having keybinds. So it's kind of interesting to see a lot of people are talking about him clicking on that. It's something a little bit more welcome on this realm than I think some of the other groups that we're used to seeing at times.
Yeah, I mean, it's honest. It's a. I understand there's like a stigma against people clicking, but I mean, look what they're still able to do all this even with that, right? And I think it's impressive because it shows that you can be a clicker and you can still run this is probably going to be like a sub 10-minute LBRS.
And the rogue's back up, so they did manage to get a revive on the rogue. So he's back in action. And it looks like they're going to be at Omokk, and it's at just like, I think it was at 9:01.
Yep.
Started
Looks like 9:01.
Just over 9 minutes.
Clickers rise up. There you go. Yeah.
If you look at the current speedrun times, over 10 minutes was the best posted time. So this is already better than what was posted on the Discord previously.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's already like you're coming in here and you're like, all right, we know we can beat the leaderboard. So that's something big. That's something good. So I'll get them added 9:01. That's good enough to put them in second place right now, just because we did have those mishaps. Noda might not be feeling great about that, but that's where we're at right now.
At a minimum, they're in third place. Just think about that.
Yeah. Let's not think about there's only 4 total teams. Let's just think.
No, I didn't mention that.
All right, so this is where our standings are right now. Sinister Cox, aka Goosey, even though they had that rogue death, even though they had to adjust strategy and maybe add like almost 2 minutes to what they thought they were going to be able to do, they're still coming in just because mistakes on the other side, different strategies coming from different teams. So it's all gonna come down to this last one, obviously. I think the door is open for this last group, depending on what kind of stuff they're able to pull out for them to take that number 1 spot, or secure the secondary spot. Like, I think with their group comp being like double mage, it's double mage, double warrior, and priest. we'll see. We'll see what they're able to do. Wolfpack coming.
It's really funny you think about. This reminds me of the Raid Masters, kind of Nax run, where you had teams like Salad Baker's crew who botched the Gigapole. And they're probably spent 15 to 20 plus hours in a PTR leading up to that. And I'm sure a lot of these crews didn't spend quite 15, 20 hours PTRing these LBRS runs, but you can practice these things endlessly, but it comes to the game day, when it goes live, you got to actually execute it while it's live. And so that's where it really, as we've talked about and continue to talk about, is the fact that it's still anybody's game. Even the best strats weren't able to get executed today, and that leaves the door open for even our last team to potentially take the number 1 slot.
Yeah, some days it's not about having the best strategy. It's about just being able to execute what you know, and I think we're kind of seeing that today. We're gonna connect here. So the next run will be in about 17 minutes. Oh, like I said, I'll be doing the drawing for that 1 month of free WoW game time. If you guys have not already, please do an exclamation point raffle in the chat to make sure that you get your name in for that the 1 month of WoW game time. I'll be doing that drawing here in just a couple minutes, so make sure you do that. I think that you might have to be following the channel in order to actually win. So that's my little way of suckering you guys into supporting, is make sure you're following the channel when you do the exclamation point raffle.
Holy
and you could win 1 month of WoW game time.
Wow, what a deal.
What a deal. Just for a follow.
It's free real estate. Come on, grab it.
Holy shnikes.
So what are you guys thinking? What's chat thinking about for this last team going in? Do we think Stalag, the home of the Wolfpack, Arcane Wolves, will be able to take home the prize? Or where do we think they're going to land? What are you guys thinking right now? I'm seeing some Stalag team greater than all the other teams, so already getting to that. Stalag may not be the server it once was, but there's still sweat to be had.
Yeah, I mean,
Holy shnikes.
I might be biased, right? It's my server. I want to see my boys do well, but at the same time, they need to actually show up and do well to earn it, right? I will be probably a little bummed if they don't actually put up a time that would have beaten Noda or would have beaten Goosey if they had actually got their strategies done. But at the end of the day, they just have to put up a number that's good enough. That's all that's got to happen. Thank you guys all for the follows, by the way.
This is the first team that we're going to have casters, really. Involved in it. So, as we saw, the last team had to go. They were not aware of the jump skip to get up to Wyrmthalak without missing all the spiders, like the first two teams were. So I'm not sure if this team is aware of that skip, or I was not aware of it myself. So
yeah, that was
maybe
actually
utilizing mages for that section, which was really causing trouble for the other ones.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, we didn't even really touch on, like that skip from Omokk's room, kind of straight over to, running up towards Wyrmthalak. Like that's a pretty solid skip that maybe people weren't even aware of existed.
It makes that's what as we said, we were kind of bashing Elbers a little bit, saying it's dungeon we try to avoid, etc. That, but it's also one of the ones that we first talked about doing a competition for because of the verticality of it and the amount of different ways you can approach it. And I think that's something that makes it an incredibly interesting instance to watch people engage with, because there's so many different approaches you can have, and because of the gear level we have, the way you can do a split approach to the bosses, or you can stack them up, or you can do skips, you can jump through the things. And there's already skips that I'm aware of that I haven't seen other groups do, and ones that they've taught me today. Yeah. So I'm sure there's still something out there too that nobody's known yet, that is going to be even wilder. So there's still I still think there's some meat on that bone in terms of figuring out the optimal pathing for Elbers, but
Yeah.
maybe Wyrmthalak will have something for us.
Maybe, I mean, this is a far-fetched idea, but maybe if we do get a fresh vanilla, I and maybe you and maybe, you know, Dungeon Cleave or Classic Dungeon Speed, whatever it ends up being, maybe we will be more on top of our game, and we will actually be able to do like seasonal dungeon speed running and leaderboards in vanilla if they do a fresh vanilla. Because I think like what we're seeing today, like yeah, it's phase 6 and you and I are learning like, oh, there's skips you can do in LBRS to save time that we didn't know about. Like it might be that, you know, Undead Strat and Live Strat are kind of figured out at this point, but like there haven't been many LBRSs, there haven't been many UBRSs. So there's a lot of room for growth and a lot of room for exciting runs. I'm super stoked for where Classic WoW is going to go from here.
Well, it's something I think is really cool is that if you look up, you know, DM West Speedrun, Skolo, Strathholm, like you look at any of the past events we've done, you look at what the speedruns that were posted and the most commonly known ones, and then you look what was done during the competition, it's a total different world. Like they're not even in the same realm of execution or like strategy, planning, etc., etc. So to think that like every single time we've held these competitions and given people a little bit of incentive to say, hey, really push the envelope on these dungeons, there's so much more dungeons that haven't really been truly tapped with their potential in Classic alone. And so there's definitely a lot of opportunity to do that in Classic, and there's going to be opportunity right ahead with TBC. You know, I don't think the speedrunning collective for TBC, you know, dungeons was there when TBC was around, or even in private servers. I haven't seen a ton of information on it, so it's going to be pretty exciting to see anytime we hold these competitions what people build. You know, the innovation I think is the most interesting part of these competitions for me, seeing what people are able to cook up.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Even just seeing, because like when I talk to people about them and they say, oh, I'm not that interested in doing it, I always say like, well, check it out anyway, because you might learn a skip of your own. And I've had a lot of people say like, oh man, I watched a UD strat and I didn't know you could kill Ramstein inside that last ziggurat and just like avoid that whole like 2 minutes of sitting and waiting for the door to open up again. Like there are things like that that the average player can utilize.
Absolutely. All about building that quality of life with your runs, you know?
Yeah.
I think we talk about that a lot in, you know, my guild's raids, that every raid is about getting just at least 1% better than the last. It's always about continually improving. And I try to do that too, and even when I'm doing just basic dungeon runs. So I'm always looking for those hot new strats. And so that's really why we hold these competitions, is that I actually have to do a lot of LBRS runs in the near future. And I'm just really looking for ways to cut down on my time. So thanks, Scott, for doing the homework for us.
Yeah. So we are, I'm going to do the drawing here. This is going to be your last chance to enter the drawing. So if you want the chance at 1 month of WoW Game Time, make sure you are doing that ! raffle in the chat. Make sure you are following the channel. You need those 2 things. Make sure you have done those 2 things, and then it will ensure that you can get your name has the chance of being drawn. We'll give it just a little bit more here. I see a few more people still getting the ! raffle in the chat. Get it done, get it done, get it done. I'll do a little countdown. Little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm closing it. All right, we're going to pick a winner. And here we go. OSG Sun. OSG_Sun. Are you here to collect your prize? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give them a few minutes. We'll see if they're able to say something in chat. Hopefully they are. If
Blizzard's into jazzing things up, and instead of calling it a boost, they call it a dark portal pass. You know, this isn't just game time. This is a TBC pass. This is going to get you straight into TBC. And
Oh yeah, we're
TBC
paying.
release. This would have cost you the cost of whatever TBC cost it release. Now you're getting it for free.
Yes, perfect. All right, they are in the chat. They are here. Congrats, OSG Sun. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna send you a quick whisper on Discord, or sorry, on Twitch. And I will get connected with you, and I'll get you 1 month of free WoW game time. Wow, wasn't that exciting? Wasn't that? That's every. I mean, I think we're
What a
basically
time to be
done.
alive. Yeah, I gotta catch my breath. I'm just getting too excited.
But yes, thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for entering the raffle, for just like hanging out and watching. Again, everything today is sponsored by you, the viewer, and this channel. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for, we did get like some donations and stuff, so thank you. We are getting very close here. We have about 7 minutes left until this last group is ready. This is going to be another double viewing, so I'll have the picture-in-picture ready to go. So we'll get that running. I hope that the winning team will be around here to do an interview after the fact. I know that Goosey, it's getting late for them, EU time. I don't know if they're still around, but if they do end up winning, I would love to be able to get them in just to chat about the run, and give us their perspective on how it went down and maybe what they were planning on doing. But we'll see. Maybe we'll be bringing in Wolfpack to ask them about their double mage strat. It's all coming up here in the next 6 minutes, guys. I'll start getting this picture-in-picture set up. Coming at you with the quality. Are you still here, Shrek? How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I'm just trying to take a quick peek and see some of these warriors and kind of what specs or what they kind of typically run. So it looks like Callison is, you know, usually a tank rather than, I know Homie is a undead warrior, so typically running DPS. I'm curious what kind of gearing Callison's going to be running for this, and then what the mages will be looking like, as well as what spec they went. As we know, everybody favors fire right now, or kind of an elemental spec to just do that raw glass cannon DPS.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, sorry, Homie, you're a troll warrior. I apologize. That was so rude of me. Yeah, it will be interesting to see if the mages decide to spring for a more traditional frost to just kind of kite things, or if they're just kind of looking to melt. So, be curious what they're working with for here.
Yeah, the specs are super interesting. Obviously, we screwed up with the druids already. So as we're speculating about like which spec they might be, we'll see what happens. Callison is subbed out for Cooney. No worries. I can get that updated here. Actually.
Oh, okay. So we're not gonna have any Blessed Blades of the Windseeker tonight. Dang.
So we have Cooney, Homie Tank, Selvian, Techt, and Water for me. Will be those will be our players today. I'm just getting this brilliant picture-in-picture set up. Oh, it's gorgeous, guys.
So it looks interesting. From what I can tell, Cooney is actually a dagger warrior, but working with that Biss dagger combo, rocking a solid King's Fall, Death Sting, blasting. So we'll see how that goes. You lose a lot of cleave damage when you're rocking daggers, but you make up for it with the sheer amount of cleaves that you're going to be putting out because of that fast attack speed. So it'll be interesting. I think Homie rocks a Castigator, so he's a mace warrior.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing because he's a troll that he's got Edge Masters.
But at this level, you're generally because you're dealing with level 60 mobs more often than not, people are not going to be using Edge Masters. So I think he actually has Golem's Annihilation that he might be bringing for today.
Oh. Yes. So we've got about 3 minutes.
First group that we've seen use the sand buff, which is exciting.
Oh.
So
That actually invalidates your run, I do want to say. I'm just kidding.
We talked with Warclaw logs and we made an exception for the Elbers logs.
Yep, Elbers, you're okay for sand buff. Go for it, everybody. Have fun.
So I think water for me, despite the name, it looks like he's fire because I think those gloves are the gloves of Hypnotic Flame, if I'm not mistaken. Those red gloves. So I'm assuming he's a fire spec for this. But we're not sure where Tech is for this. I'm assuming with his gear level that they're just going to opt for the blast him and write a check later kind of style of fire
maybe.
gameplay.
Gosh, yeah, fire mages, they absolutely pump. I got wrecked by a fire mage in a ZG yesterday, and I was just like, I was pumping as hard as I could, and just the fire mage, everything that I did, they did better. So
yeah, I remember getting. I've been on a few KTs where the mage gets MC'd, and because the mage is usually doing the CC, they take a little bit longer sometimes to get CC'd than I'd care for. But I got hit with a full flame strike, and then a fire blast, and then fireball, and like I remember the ignite tick, and I was on my shaman at the time, and I had to pop Eye of the Dead, and was just max rank healing myself just to keep myself alive from like the ignite ticks essentially.
Yeah. You'll also see these guys are they feel totally safe and confident hanging out right outside Ubers. That's Stalag. This is the life that we live. It's a PvP server, but not really. That's just who we are. So I gave them the go-ahead whenever they're just doing some last-minute prep, I think, and then they will get going here. This is going to be our final run of the day. We'll see if they're able to come in here. The time to beat, I believe, is like 4:51 to 4:53, somewhere in there. So that is going to be their goal. We'll see if they're able to do it. If not, the second place time to beat is 9 minutes and 1 second. So there's a big window of time opportunity for them to get second place, but I would love for them to come in and take that first place slot if possible. So they're zoning in here, and we're about to get ready to go. It looks like they're already going. Actually,
they're already
just
off to the races. They didn't even wait for everybody to get loaded in.
Yeah, Homie Tank taking a little bit, but he's got that intercept. He's catching back up,
and he's got Slowfall already locked and loaded. So
yeah, fully buffed to the 9s. It looks like these guys are opting to do a more conventional strat, what we saw the first two groups do, which is to go up to this reset spot up by the quest giver. We'll see if they're going to pop Petries to get out of combat just like 8 seconds sooner.
They already have Flask of Titans running, at least Homie does, from what I can see, and it looks like a Supreme Power is running on Tecton, or yeah, it's just Tect. So I'm willing to bet they're probably not going to.
Also, those is it both the mages that are? Yeah,
both of the mages are down, already heading towards. They've invis potted and are making their way into spider territory.
Yeah, so it looks like
they're gonna opt to pull the whole group here.
Yeah, the double mages going. They're gonna kill probably all the spiders, or they have a reset spot planned. It looks like probably one or the other. Meanwhile, Homie Cooney and Selvian, the double warrior priest, they are moving in here. It looks like towards Voone, killing a lot of trash.
Yeah, they are just opting to clear as opposed to utilize any of that Mind Soothe like we saw.
Yeah.
So the mages are still booking it. They've aggroed multiple ogres. Looks like they've
have a reset
jumped.
Spot.
Looks like they got a reset spot.
Yeah.
I was a spot I'm not aware of. So as we said, each team teaching us something new today.
So they're popping. It looks like they popped some trinkets. They're swapping trinkets around. The mobs are now reset. They are out of combat. Meanwhile, Homie Tank, they're moving through. They're pulling Voone along with a couple trash mobs. Double warrior priest. 100% confidence they're going to be able to get this down. No problem whatsoever. more interested on what these two mages are up to. They do have this patrol here that's in the way. I think they were thinking about either killing it or just going for this skip. First mage makes it up fine. Second mage made it up fine as well.
They're going to aggro. Oh, they blinked past them. Nope. Yep, they're going to get those bugs. I was going to say it's really hard to... I don't think you can avoid that particular bug group. I know you can avoid the other ones, but...
Yeah, at least as mages...
That mage power, it's like a couple arcane explosions and you're done.
Yeah. Okay, so Voone is down. Let's see. So we've got Homie, Cooney, and Selvian. They're moving up. I assume they're going to just head towards Omokk. We're at 3 minutes right now.
Starting the Mind Soothe now.
So they've got less than 2 minutes. The mages they were able to stealth past a lot of mobs. Let's see if I assume, okay, so they're Frost Novaing to get through. There's a daze. I wonder what the plan, like, is there another reset spot in here?
Looks like they got another spot they're going to.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's dropping for them.
Okay, so these mages, they're
just sniping these mobs.
They're killing these mobs before they evade. That's what they're doing right now. So they're killing trash before these evade. Meanwhile, okay, sorry again, Homie Tank, Cooney, Selvian, they're killing Omokk. Omokk's already down below 50%, so now it's on these mages. Can they pull and kill Wyrmthalak in time?
They've got about 40 seconds to do it.
Oh, man. So they are... Okay, so they aggro those mobs. It looks like, they're going to do some cheeky jumping up and down.
Run and back, yeah. This is slave pens for you.
Oh, my gosh. Look at him melt. He's just melting.
Look at that ignite. I mean,
and
right off the bone.
Here we go. It's going to be time here. I think they've done it. 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
Woo! And the gemstone.
Just under.
And the gemstone dropping.
Boom. We're seeing gems for days.
4:29, I think, might be the official time. Either way, I think they may have just done it.
I think that's a W. Stalag reppin'.
Goodness. Stalag reppin'. Stalag coming in clutch. Winning that. If you guys, if you are in the chat,
he forgot the Chrono Boom. He's trying to save the buffs. No.
They're Chrono Boon and the rest of their buffs. If you guys want to, there's a chat channel in the Classic Dungeon Speed Discord. If you guys want to jump into that, I will drag you up to chat with us. That was, I mean, very impressive for the comp that you had. They're jumping over. Okay, sounds good. Oh, they're all here.
That was
I'll drag them down. Go ahead, Shrek.
I was saying that was just the most creative use of reset spots we'd seen. We saw most of the groups utilizing the same reset spot up by the quest giver mob, but that was the first time we'd seen that utilized for Wyrmthalak's spot, as well as to get past all the spiders and whatnot. I thought they were just going to kill him. That was really cool to see.
Guys, I have the full team in here. Wolfpack with the 429, 430. Either way, you guys had the fastest run of the day. How does it feel?
Oh, it's great.
It feels good.
When we saw that first team go, we're like, we have a good time, but their strategy is way quicker. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, let's. I mean, we can kind of mention that. It seems like Goosey's strategy had the potential for being like sub 3 minutes. In PTR, what was your guys' best time?
Actually, I think this was our best time, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was probably it. We did a 434 Wyrmthalak, but like we never did it as a full run before.
Oh wow.
Okay.
We've done like each part of it, like the one group and the other group, but we never did it together really.
How did your strategy? How'd you go about developing your strategy? Did you just kind of get in the instance and start doing things, or did you guys have something mapped out as you were walking into the PTR?
That is all Tecton. So he wanted to farm that ring off the final boss on his mage, so he learned how to solo it on his mage. And from there we were like, okay, let's just put together the group to kill the other bosses and just have them do that. And then we realized, having another mage will make that a whole lot quicker. So yeah, it's pretty much, it just went from there. It was basic strat, but it worked for us, and Yeah.
So you already had the like Wyrmthalak worked out. It was basically just how do we get everything else down?
Yeah,
How
that-
did you?
Oh,
when
sorry.
did you figure that out? Like that strategy? Like what gear level were you?
Well, that mage skip I did a couple months ago because I was trying to farm the ring for farming Nax trash because I dual box that on 2 mages and just MP5 is great. So I've been doing that for a couple months. Doesn't really matter what your gear is. You can do that as anything.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've done the mage farm in Nax, but I've always done it with a partner. I've never tried to dual box it, so that's super impressive. And I imagine the MP5. When you guys were figuring out the pathing for Voone and stuff, had you guys just seen other runs that have done that, or was that something that you also were just kind of figured out on the fly last night after you already knew how you were going to do Wyrmthalak?
It was a mix of both. I mean, we kind of winged it. Tecton knew like the basics, and then we kind of just messed around, saw what worked, saw what didn't. We probably practiced mess ups more than any other team because we expected to fall and miss things a lot. So we were really prepared to miss things, but we know that instance pretty well by now.
That's definitely an interesting approach because you know things are going wrong, and you guys had already planned around expecting even if it goes wrong, here's how we're going to pivot and divert. Was that something that you felt like really played to your strength through today? Was because you had that escape plan B, but it looked like you didn't even need to utilize it.
It does make you a whole lot more comfortable, and it takes a lot of the pressure off. So yeah, that definitely helped us. It went as smooth as it could have gone today. So
Yeah, we were thinking about doing the skip where everyone slow falls from the Omokk over to the Scorpions for the mages because it is about 30 seconds quicker, but it just wasn't reliable enough, and we didn't have the PTR to practice with buffs. So we just decided to go the safe route.
Oh, well, it paid off. Absolutely, it did. And like we had so Farky, who was on the Goosey team, he congratulated you guys in the chat, and also brought up a point that I love, which is everyone did something different today. You guys included, and I think that was just like a super cool thing. I mean, you guys had the only 2 mages in the competition. Clearly it worked out pretty well. You guys just melted Wyrmthalak. And yeah, it seems like that was your best run that you guys did so far. So it's fantastic.
Had you guys walked in planning on, was it priest, we need a priest, or was there any thoughts about if there's other classes that may have had a little bit better synergy or anything like that?
I should probably go back and see what my post was when I tried to get people, but my post said something along the lines of, all right, I need 4 people who want to win some free WoW game time. I have a plan where I think it'll work. Anyone will do. So there was no plan. The priest Selvian is my brother IRL, so it was kind of given that he would be running it.
Wow.
That's great. I mean, I can't imagine seeing that go up and basically being like, I got the plan to the promised land. Who's coming with me? You know?
Just right. Like, it's figured out. It's done.
Just show up and perform. Yep.
Hell yeah. That was great. And you guys brought it home for Stalag. That's just an extra little bonus for me and for Shrek, I think, too.
Yeah, well, EU has dominated these competitions. The last few competitions or teams that have taken the crown have been EU teams, so it's nice to see that the slow and steady pace sometimes of America can pay off.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. It's so funny because I feel like in past competitions, the U.S. teams have been mostly Horde, and it's been mostly like, let's just Zug really hard and see if that works. And to see, I mean, you guys came in here with like a different strategy. Like you guys had different plans. You had routing, you had reset spots, and that's I think all it took. Right? Was the U.S. teams getting putting a little bit more thought into it, I guess.
Yeah, I think in the whole run we killed maybe 16 mobs. Like it's really not a lot.
Yeah, and half of those were the bugs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't count those, but you can skip the bugs, but we suck at it. Yeah, we're trash.
I think that's a really good point, though. It's sometimes like there's things you know that you can be done, but you're not confident in what can be done consistently. And at a certain point, it's worth accepting not just always going for the home run, but going for the surefire thing, especially in a live competition like this, where you've already seen a couple teams run into those issues where they went to send it and fell just a little bit short. So did the fact that the other teams had fallen short a little bit from the expectations they had set for themselves. Did that change at all how you guys thought about the run? I mean, obviously didn't really change the strap, but was it more reassuring, or how'd that affect you?
I mean, me personally, I was a lot less stressed after seeing the other 3 runs and the mistakes that inevitably happened.
Yeah,
sure.
We knew we had it easily sub 10. Like that wouldn't have been an issue. So when we saw the other team was around like the 9-minute mark, I think it was, we were pretty confident that we had it.
At least had second place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
At a minimum third,
Yeah.
Oh,
We're just happy
man.
we finished.
Oh, that was a great run. That was a great one to close it out. I appreciate you guys for signing up and competing, and for everyone in the chat who was here, all the teams who competed today. Thank you guys all. If you are interested in more of this stuff, we've got it planned. Like, we have a better infrastructure planned out for TBC. I just put a link in the chat. I'll send it a couple more times. DungeonCleave.com. I'm gonna just like promote it as much as I can, because it's something that I'm a part of, something that I'm super excited about, and I hope that this crew who's with me right now, who just won this, I hope you guys are. I don't know if you're all gonna be on the same server. Well, I guess you're all on Stalag and you're stuck here for a while.
Right.
So hopefully to see you guys like putting up heroic dungeon times in Dungeon Cleave, and everyone that's in the chat, be looking for more competitions from us. That's where I'll be. Hopefully we can continue to have this grow and become, more and more of a regular thing, and more of like an official esport.
Yeah, I was checking out the site the other day, and I gotta say it's a very clean site, and it also has links to a number of different streams from the community that's going to be help pushing Dungeon Cleave and TBC, and there's already a couple names in there that I hadn't heard of. That it was a great little discovery. So if you're interested in like kind of what you guys have seen, it's worth checking out all those streams too, because those people are going to be part of the community moving forward, and also going to be part of the people help shaping it. So worth checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final thoughts, remarks, anything from Team Wolfpack?
Just a thank you to you for setting this up. It was a lot of fun, and I know there's a lot of people that enjoyed watching it too, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Good job to every team. Everyone did good. Noda had a crazy run. Like, that would have been insane.
Oh yeah. I think they mentioned in chat like they're gonna come back for more. So I'm excited for that. And I hope you guys are there to defend it on behalf of Stalag moving forward. So thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks for competing.
Thank you.
All right, that is, I think, going to do it for us, guys. That was our fourth and final run. Wolfpack coming in with the 4-minute and 29-second LBRS, killing each of the gemstone bosses. That was insane. Oh, Shrek. Final thoughts on the day?
What a wonderful day, dude. Like, it was just a real treat, as I said. I've used that word many times, because that's truly what it was. Every team brought something different to the table, had a different strategy, showed us a different area that you could set as a reset spot, a different way of attacking a boss, different way of pulling it. Even like on Team 3, we got to see the Hunter and utilizing some unique strategies. It was super fun to watch. Thank you all to the competitors for putting themselves out there, trying something, and competing. Thank you, Duranasaur, for putting these on and continuing to pave the way for what we'll be doing in TBC. I'm so excited for what we've got in store, and can't wait to see it unfold.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shrek, for being here, for being my co-caster for these events.
Of course.
They would not be what they are.
I appreciate you inviting me. And
yeah.
Next time, hopefully by next time I'll have that webcam running for you, so you won't just get. That is how I look in real life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought that was just you. I thought you were.
It is. It's just a still photo, but
gotcha.
I know you guys want to see the mouth in action.
Oh yeah, I think that is what everyone's thinking.
That's what they mostly look for. When I'm looking for webcam, I'm looking for mouth.
All right. With that, thank you, Shrek. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been an incredibly fun day. check us out. What we're doing in the future, TBC. It's going to be an absolute blast, and I hope to see you all there. I'll put more links for the Dungeon Cleave community in the Classic Dungeon Speed Discord. And yeah, just keep on supporting us as we do this stuff, and we'll keep making it bigger and better as we go. So we'll check you guys out next time. Thank you again to Shrek, to all the teams, and as always, happy hunting. Have a good rest of your Saturday. Take care.
Bye.